So hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Walter of Lit One, or as the Money Talk. So it is Wednesday. So it is Wealth Wednesdays, where we talk about money, how to make it, and how to keep it. But I should say that the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are great people, but we can always strive to do better. So I'd like to also say a big giant welcome and thank you to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You are the other side of the conversation. Not only are you just participants in the comment section, we now share the link so that you can come on and say what you want to say, whether it's to ask a question about money or, put something on the topic per se. All that I ask is that if you're not a regular and I don't already know you, before I bring you up on the big screen, show me your face so I can see that you're not a troll or something like that. And then I will bring you up so you can say what you have to say or ask your question. The other thing I want us all to recognize is I know a lot of times when we have conversations that get kind of heated, or a lot of times it's just our first time up here, we got a lot of stuff to say. When you see me give this signal, which is the fist, Black Power, that means that I need to jump in there or, bring your commentary to a close so that we can add something else to it. So that's really all I ask. And so I also want to say that Walter is our resident financial advisor, has been in the game for over 30 years. He's advised a whole host of people, celebrities, and everyday people on instructing us how to make and save money, invest, and everything else in between. And so Walter does have the experience under his belt to give us advice. Now, he doesn't know everything, but he knows a lot of things. And the things that he does not know, he will say, I don't know. But this is your opportunity to figure out how to be better financially. All right. Also today, who else came on here? Michael, Stacy, how you doing? Facts Not Feelings, what's going on? And Most Excellent, 95, how you doing? Black America, what's going on? Detroit, man. And T, Byrony, I hope I said that right, but how you doing nevertheless? So we're going to be talking about Tyrese Gibson. Of course, Tyrese is always in the news per se, whether he's got a movie or he's got a song out or he's got something in his personal life going on. Well, this particular thing that he has going on, he was just ordered to pay about $650,000 in back child support to his most recent ex-wife. He has two ex-wives, and they each have a child with him apiece. So we're going to get into that in just a second. Of course, we're going to obviously have a conversation about child support and how to avoid it, and any other financial question that you guys want to ask or discuss. Jamarcus, how you doing? L Boogie, what's going on? Easy, how are you? And Rain, how you doing? And Ebony, what's going on? Who else? Arneba, yes, how you doing? So the Rain says, crybaby Ty. Well, yes, Tyrese has cried a lot. So Walter, what say you before we get started? One cool uncle, how you doing?
No, there's a lot going on. I'm just catching up on this Tyrese article. I hope y'all did y'all shorts on First Republic Bank and your call options on Facebook. If so, you're gonna be very happy today. If not, next time.
Absolutely. So anyway, Tyrese has been having a lot of back and forth with his ex-wife, Samantha Lee. It's been very public. He's also been very public with his other wife, ex-wife named Norma. I guess that was her name. You guys might remember when he was crying, what more do you want from me type of thing, because at the time he was ordered to pay his first ex-wife child support to the tune of about $13,000 for their child. And this time around, he was ordered to pay $10,000 a month for the newer child. So I guess the child is like 4. But I'm going to play you guys a series of videos so you guys can get kind of an understanding of what is going on. So here is the first video. They're all pretty short.
We're hoping to accomplish shedding light on Samantha Gibson making well over $100,000 a year outside of what I make per year, and the necessary needs of the actual child are beyond met.
Okay. So this particular video, he was in court, just basically saying that his ex-wife Samantha, she makes $100,000, well over, plus what he's making. So he's worth, from what I saw, about $6 million. He's also has a new movie kind of coming out, Fast and the Furious 199, because there's a bunch of them, but Fast and the Furious nevertheless is coming out, which he is in that movie. All right. And so let me play the other video.
Family, Attorney Benjamin Crump, to join me. I am asking Ambassador Andrew Young, the ex-mayor of Atlanta, and one of my nearest beloved brothers and friends to meet me. I'm asking Martin Luther King III, 22. That way you can set up cameras and you can document everything that's going to be discussed. Because this is all public record and public knowledge, there's nothing confidential about our case. It's all very public.
All right. So in that particular video, I'm just showing y'all a little bit of clips. He was asking for, the civil rights attorneys and different civil rights leaders to show up at the Atlanta courthouse to help him, I guess, bring awareness to fathers' rights and, what was going on with him. Doesn't sound like anybody showed up, because it sounds like maybe it was shut down by the judge too. Now in January, he was admonished by the judge in the case, which he called, Tyrese called racist, because I guess when Tyrese was trying to ask a question, the judge basically told him, and I'm paraphrasing, shut up. You don't run the courthouse. You basically do as I say. He's also accused the judge of calling his ex-wife Samantha the B word, I guess, in private chambers. And somebody, said that the judge called his ex-wife a B word. So that's why he was saying he was racist, trying to get the judge thrown off of the case. But that did not happen. Okay, so this last video, I'm going to put this up here.
As far as why I didn't make that payment or why I was behind on a particular payment, me and my attorney attempted to get this judge thrown off the bench. So therefore, although he made a judgment, everything about his judgment was beyond the scope of the law, the legal law of Georgia. So why are we going to start making child support payments when you grab a child support payment from California, which has nothing to do with Georgia? Why are we going to do that? So I was advised to not start paying child support. And so I was in contempt. She was in contempt as well. But you know what they did? They got rid of her contempt of court. And they said I was in contempt of court, and they stuck it to me.
All right. So that's him explaining, obviously, why he wasn't paying the child support. Sounds like they took some, I guess, a case from California, or what was maybe wanted into California, and brought over to Georgia. Now, of course, you guys know that California's laws are a lot different, especially in regards to child support. We've also heard of a lot of people with a lot of money. And sorry, guys, if I seem to glitch or I go out, I'm going to come back. Something's going on with StreamYard, but don't panic. I'll be right back. Hopefully it doesn't. But anyway, one of the other cases we heard of was, what's his name? Tristan Thompson. Remember when he got caught up with Khloe so he's with Khloe Kardashian, but he was cheating and got another woman pregnant. And he was working in Houston. I guess he's playing basketball in Houston, but it happened in California. I guess the girl lived in California. And Tristan was trying to get Texas child support, jurisdiction. But then the judge was like, no, we don't want nothing to do with it here. So it ended up going back to California. Now, a lot of times people don't want it to be ruled upon in California because it costs a lot more money. So I think that's kind of where Tyrese was going with the difference between California and Georgia. So nevertheless, he ended up having to pay her lawyer about $400,000 for, legal fees, and then having to pay her about $250,000, not quite that, but close, in back child support. And then it sounds like, again, he was ordered to pay $10,000 a month for that child. Now he's got $13,000 a month for his previous child. So There's a lot going on there with Tyrese. Nevertheless, he felt like he was being treated unfairly. But before I give it to Walter and I jump in the comment section to open up this link, I'd be remiss if I did not say he's got a 27-year-old girlfriend. Now, Tyrese is 44 years old, and she, not a big deal there. However, the reason I'm bringing that up is because if you follow Tyrese on social media, he's whining and dining his new girlfriend, when she ain't disrespecting him. Because I don't know if y'all saw the video, and Donovan and I actually covered it, where she said originally she wasn't attracted to Tyrese. She was actually attracted to Paul Walker. Well, he's deceased now, but Paul Walker and Tyrese are very good friends. And she says, because you're old and, bald and a whole bunch of other stuff. But, Paul Walker would have been older than Tyrese if he was still alive. But so anyway, they kind of had their off and on thing. But the point that I'm making is he seems like he spends a lot of money on her. Because she's what they call an Instagram model. So I'm not deducing her down to nothing, but it doesn't sound like she's making the money he's making. So the point that I'm making is he is taking care of her. All right, Walter.
I know Snoop said, ain't nothing good to get burnt while I'm in it. I mean, geez Louise. I don't know, for that kind of money, you might want to put a condom on. For $23,000, jeez Louise. I don't know. Hopefully he gets to see the kids. And really, at the end of the day, it's just cheaper just to pay the broads without the lawyer. Because $400,000, you could have just paid her off completely. You know what I'm saying? And when we get to the point we stop using our kids as pawn pieces, not only is it making us broke, the kids are in the middle, and now your ass is in the news. So it's just. It's sad that the lawyer's getting all that money. The lawyers are the ones getting the money. So in Ben Crump, those guys ain't gonna show up because ain't no money in it for them. You definitely ain't getting Jesse Jackson and Martin Luther King III. They ain't showing up unless there's a check involved. So did you really need civil rights leaders? You make millions of dollars a year. And I was actually kind of surprised to hear he's only worth $6 million. He got to be worth more than that. I guess paying $30,000 a month in child support and taking out Instagram women, that shit, I'm sure is not cheap. They like to go to Neiman Marcus, just to grab a $2,000 coat for the night. So, and we notice the courts lead toward women, especially he's a successful black man. No one's going to have sympathy for him. I don't agree with $10,000 a month. If the child is used to living, if the child can live on $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, I think that's reasonable. One thing the courts don't do, and he didn't obviously do either, is think about their future. Because he ain't go, Tyrese actually, if he doesn't screw it, he is in a job where he can work for the rest of his life. And a lot of those guys tend to, so he can still make more money. But with some of this AI and some of these, you think, replacing these actors and some of these personalities, an actor may be a thing of the past if you really think about it. Like, I enjoy watching Brad Pitt and Denzel and some of these guys on screen, but shit, some of this AI is really taking over. In 20 years, we may be watching AI. So I don't know. I just think it's sad that he's wasting all this time and money. It only take 2 hours of sex to get a girl pregnant once, and you have years of trauma. I think we should start a club. Men, you get a switch. Before you take the woman out and you try and have sex with her, you should say, you have a committee of us that just take you through all the shit. Child support, this, that, the drama, all the things you're going to have to deal with. And, maybe we would, I think we would save, especially in his case, would save a bunch of money. But that's just me. And he should be worth more than that. $6 million, geez. I could catch Tyrese $6 million.
Well, and part of that too, I guess, in his first case with the first ex-wife, I guess she had accused him of abusing his child physically, and he was kept away from his child. So that's kind of part of when he was crying and stuff on the internet. Guess it panned out not to be true. She made all these accusations against him, and all of that.
Surprise.
And then I guess during that case, he was also saying how he's not making as much money as she thinks he was making, but nevertheless, sound like he had to come up out of $13,000 a month for that particular child. I was looking at somebody's comment that said she would have been too old for Paul Walker too. Not to make light of it, but yeah, they said that I guess one of his girlfriend at the time, or I know when he met her, she was like 13. So, yeah, very interesting. So facts not feelings. How you doing? It says if you pay her out of court, she will take you to court later as if you never paid her anything. Yeah, and a lot of people, and I've talked to men that say, you know what? Instead of doing it that way you just said, let's just go to court and get some on paper. Because I don't want to have to be, like you said, paying all this money. And then later on, you're talking about, well, I'm going to put the white man on you. And then, because we all know if you go to court and say, well, I've been paying her child support for 5 years, they'll say, well, it don't count, right? Because we don't have a record of it or anything. And in some cases, they can go back after you for back child support, even though you've been paying. And that's why they say, too, that if you do have a child support case, never give whoever the other parent is, never give them money directly. Give it straight to the child support, system so that they can funnel the money, because that way they can keep a record of the money. And even if you say, well, I got a receipt, I had her sign and say she got the money, that sometimes they'll even still say that don't count. You should have came here first, right? Hey, Jessica, how you doing? And let's see here. And Rainey says these males get with younger women because they say women their age hit the wall. I love hearing her call him old and bald. I was like, he was so like all the life just left his body. He's sitting there because they were on live, Walter. They were on live, and she's kind of massaging his shoulders, and she's like, yeah, initially I wasn't attracted to him, but. And he's like, I can't believe this. What? So yeah. Hey, old lady, how you doing? Say he sounds like a bitter baby daddy. And Naima, you say, I think with the large amount of child support, half should go to a trust fund every month instead of it to the custodial parent. And it sounds like too. That's what he was trying to advocate for, some sort of a bond or something like that. I don't know if that's something you could do, but I guess he wanted some of the money to go into a bond. So I don't know if that actually happened, but I did hear something about that. I Spy Queen, how you doing? And Easy, you say that attempt to remove Judge was a joke. Yeah, because he was kind of saying he was racist and this, that, and the other. It was like, he might have been, but it also kind of sounded like you just didn't want to pay your child support, or that much anyway. Facts not feelings. You say Tyrese is better off with a pro, save a whole lot of money and get you variety. Okay, so you talking about? I think I know where you're going with that. You kind of misspelled it a little bit. Is that where we're going? Oh, I get what we're saying with that. And TG, how you doing? It says the courts lean toward who is best suited for the children. Women tend to be the primary caregivers. If the baby falls down, to whom does he or she run? That's who gets the kids. Yeah, that's true. They do kind of look at it that way, but I think it's also fair to say that we know in a lot of cases the courts are very friendly towards the mother. Now, I know of quite a few women who have lost custody to the father, right? So it just depends, but typically, yeah, they kind of favor the mom a lot more. Byron, how you doing? You say, Walter, Shalom, Demetra, Walter family. He says, this is a prime example of what happens when you let the little head lead. Yeah. Brother Reggie, how you doing? And Brother Samuel, what's going on with you? He says, the white man really takes advantage of our ignorance. You can't cook. They are the cook. If you got the talent, they are the agent. You don't know how to make relationship work or your role, then they are the divorce lawyer. Get rich in every case. Yeah, which is why they say in the nation, settle down to a good choice, right? Like stop hopping around from bed to bed, here, there, everywhere, And TGU says you can take yourself to court and put yourself on child support. A court did it without a lawyer. Yeah, I know some people who did that. I was like, nah, I ain't gonna keep going back and forth with you 1 month, what we agreed on prior, that's not enough. You're going to threaten to take me to the white man if I don't give you what you want. So it's like, let's just go there right away. And whatever it's going to be is going to be. But one thing you don't get to do to me is hold this over my head, right? Have me biting my nails all the time. Every time I tell you no, then you're going to be taking me back to court. So it's like, I agree with that. If that was my situation, I tell you all the time, I was caught up in the child support system twice, erroneously, I might add. And I also might add that I never paid him one dime because it was wrong. But that's neither here nor there. I'll probably get into that a little bit later on today. But so the reason why I tell y'all my child support story is because I know it's more so men than it is women, but women do get caught up in the child support system too. A lot of times, just like men, through no real fault of your own, and just kind of way the cookie crumble type of thing. People not being honest, stretching the truth, and things like that. In my situation, my daughter's father, whom I tell you guys I love very dearly now, we're not on that page anymore. But he said I was an absentee mama, which was false. I've never been absentee in my daughter's life a day in her life. But that's the story he told. And I always tell you guys, I spent a whole year visiting the child support office every 2 weeks. How y'all doing today? Because I wanted them, to me, it wasn't really about the money, because they weren't garnishing my wages on that particular case. It wasn't about the money. It was about these nosy people in HR thinking that I was an absentee parent, which I wasn't. So I would go up there and tell them, hey, I'm not an absentee parent, blah, blah, blah. I take them all of my, information and stuff. And then finally they overturned it and gave me all my money back except for $50 administrative fee. So I was happy about that. Shiloh, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we hear you just fine. What's on your mind, brother?
Hey, good afternoon. Nice to be on the show with y'all. I love the work you do. Appreciate everything. Yeah, I just want to say I feel like Tyrese is the kind of example of what not to do. Like on one hand, I'm a man, so I'm gonna speak from a man's perspective. Like we as men have an example of like what to do as men, the kind of man we should aspire to be in order to be successful and sane. In order to simplify it, if you understand what I'm saying, does that make sense?
Well, yeah.
Okay. So, and then like I said, to be successful and sane, we can follow certain types of men, but I think Tyrese is the kind of example of the kind of man not to be. Like he's taken so many L's in public, and it's embarrassing. That situation with him and his girlfriend, I don't know. There's just enough has been said about that, but that's no real man would allow himself to go through that. That's my perspective. So he definitely has a lot to learn about manhood. I definitely encourage men who watch the show to just to take notes, from the content, and that's really my 2 cents. I love the work you do. A lot of respect for both of you, and that's it. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much, Shiloh. Come back and see us again. I don't know if you heard me. Walter, can you hear me? Oh, okay, there. Okay. I know it's because I'm freezing up a little bit, but I think y'all can still hear me. So, yeah, well, he's saying, Tyrese is not exactly the best example to follow. So let me jump back in this comment section. Walter, you can just jump in anytime you want. Let's see here. Where did I leave off at? Hello, Miss Sweets Talk. How are you doing? And let's see here. Rain says he's a bitter baby daddy, but he wasn't crying and whining when he was doing it without a condom. It was bittersweet then. Yeah. Miss Sweet, she says a trust fund is a great idea. Yeah, but a lot of times too, in those situations, the other parent needs the money to help, take care of the child. So a trust fund is good. I guess it's for some of the money. But then, the other argument is, well, I need the money to help with cost of living to raise a child. So, yes, that's no worries, Miss Sweets. Yeah, a lot of times, they think that's Donovan because they see Donovan up here so much, but that's Walter. And Arnie says the nation has our solution to be a successful people. Absolutely. Facts Not Feeling says, I look at the video with Tyrese and his girl. Whenever a woman is that touchy-feely with a man, she is just pretending and actually hates him. For your information, women sleep with men who they hate all the time. Yeah, I would see that, especially if you got a lot of money. It's like, All right. But he got money though. So I'm not saying it's right, but yeah, I agree with that. TG says, get educated and armed with information and don't be afraid of the course. The knife slices both ways. Yep. And Travis, how you doing? He says, let me find out you got Oprah type money, Demetri K. You know what? Not yet. Not yet. But speaking into existence. Miss Sweet Talk says, absentee parent. Wow, happy you got handled. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't an absentee parent. DA got involved, and I didn't even know that I was in the system until I got, because this is back in the day, right? Before direct deposit, when I got my check stub, and I'm like, wait a minute, my check is kind of light, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. So then I called HR, and it's like, oh yeah, you're getting your check garnished from child support. I was like, what? I had no clue at all. And then, of course, I found out my daughter's father at the time, he went and got some social services, for lack of better words, and listed me as an absentee parent. Now my daughter was on my lease. I was all up on her school paperwork. I was paying her medical out of my, check, because I had a good job then. There was no signs of me being absentee, but a lot of times, this is the problem that I have with the system, is they just take the word of the other parent. They don't say, okay, that all sound good, but let me verify that this person is actually absentee. Because my daughter's father was in her life, but he wasn't, like no primary caregiver. I was. So that's the one thing I think they should really change, is they need to do a better verification process. Well, we're going to give you some help. However, we need to see how much help or whatever, and see if that the other parent is actually not involved, because that's how a lot of people get caught up, right? Miss Sweet, she says, absentee parent. Oh, yeah, I read that. I'm sorry. Rain says, Black America. Oh, wow. He out here somewhere. Oh, Mr. Fats, how you doing? Earth Angel, what's going on with you? Mary Lee, how you doing? He says, but many will follow him. Yeah, I hope not. And Master Acabero, how you doing? He says, welcome to the plantation. Uncle Sam is definitely getting his cut from those payments. Oh yes, it's a money grab, definitely. And Easy said he took an L on live with his young boo. Yeah, he did take an L. He was surprised when she said that. He was like, what? He says, I'm logging off. I'm logging off right now. She just keeps talking. She keeps making it worse. He says, I'm logging off. She goes, no, I'm just saying, I thought, Paul Walker is really kind of my type, but and then I learned to love Tyrese. He's really sweet. It was like watching a marshmallow on top of an open fire, just melting and just because it was like unbeknownst. And he kept saying, wow, so you was feeling the homie? Now Paul Walker been gone, what, like, I don't know, close to 10 years now or so. So his girlfriend's 27. She would have been 17. So I don't know. She's got a lot to learn. But yeah, he was definitely deflated. I will say that. Black America says he did marry. Says he did marry those women. So kids are par for the course. Yeah, you're going to have some kids when in the marriage, right? So I totally agree with you on that one. But for whatever reason, they aren't together, and obviously if you're making more money, and Walter must have been up early, like me. You get married and you make more money than your spouse, and y'all don't work out, then yeah, that's kind of how it works sometimes. Like you said, par for the course. Byron, you say some people think that any relationship is better than not being in one. I'm one of them. Do your research. Absolutely. LS says a woman sleeping with a man because he has money is a 304. Walter, that's backwards. I mean, but maybe I'll let Walter address that, because I was going to address it. I was going to try to clean it up type of thing. I think what I'm trying to say is, yeah, there's some women who are just like sleeping with a man just for money, right? Like, ew, he's got gray hair down there. I'll do it anyway type of thing, right? But I think that's kind of the nature of a relationship between a man and a woman. A man, my father's told me this for years and years and years. Ain't no romance without the finance, right? I've heard Walter said, I've heard Donovan said, I've heard a lot of men say most men know it's gonna cost them something to spend time with a woman, whether it's your wife or somebody else. Walter, you want to jump in there?
I mean, that's true. I mean, we all understand that. I mean, the traditional role is for the man to lead. Period. I don't care. And women say they don't want that. They do. Because every time I've taken a woman out, um, for the most part, they want you to pay. Actually, my last girlfriend wasn't that way, but that was rare. But when women tend to be, okay, I'll take care of everything, they also tend to be a lot more masculine. And that's a whole nother conversation. I mean, Tyrese is successful. He could have any woman, not any woman, but he has millions of choices. But, you know, I guess being rich still doesn't make you immune from making mistakes. You know, she's a cute woman. I get it. But I don't know. When you have that kind of power, I just say that you keep, you know, I don't know. Your woman's like, I like your homeboy, and your homeboy's dead on top of that. Yeah, that would just be the end of her, period. And he probably knew she was crushing on Paul in the beginning anyways. I mean, he probably walked into that trap. I'm sure he
Well,
knew.
you got to remember, she's 27. Tyrese is 44. It sounds like they've been dating maybe 2 years or so at this point. So he's significantly older than she is, and Paul Walker would have been like 50 at this point if he was still alive. So he's still a lot older than Tyrese. So that's kind of, I was like, yeah, she might need to learn when to be quiet, you know. As she said, Tyrese was old. That's what she said. He's old. He's bald.
I mean, that's why it makes sense to get with a woman or a man that's on your level. You know, one can make more than the other one, but if you make 10 million a year, or in his case, 2 million or whatever he makes, and your woman's making 100,000, I mean, it's never going to be equal. And if it splits, she's going to, you know, even if it was roles were reversed, that person's going to take most of the money. I mean, you just have to, I don't know, you almost have to put something in writing, like, hey, if we get married and you have a kid and we get divorced, here's what you agree to get. Period. I'm not giving you $10,000 a month when you only make only make 8,000 a month, and the kid can live like a rock star on your 8,000 a month, and even 3 from me or 5. You know, I mean, like, these child support cases are ridiculous. But I don't not in his head, so I don't know what he's thinking, and it's easier to give, you know, the judge from over here. Who knows what's going on? But there's just sometimes you have to date a woman that's closer to your age, and date a woman that can actually, you guys have stuff in common with. I've went on many dates, and in the quick, fast, and hurry, she's not like a saver. She doesn't want to invest. She's not worried about her future. If she got more shoes than money, it's a wrap. There's nothing more. And, you know, you have to, once in a while you see him, if you feel like you need affection that night, but they can't bring nothing else to it. To be with a woman this long who brings nothing to the table, I wouldn't date an Instagram model. That's all she did. There's nothing to them. It's just pictures. And I have friends that they're Instagram models, and they're just, all they do is pictures, pictures, pictures. We go out and they want to take 4,000 pictures. I'm like, damn, how many pictures you need? You know what I'm saying? You know what drives me even the worst? And I had to let a woman go over this. Is taking a picture of her food every time we go out. She goes, the camera has to eat first.
Huh? That's what you said?
I'm just like, oh shit. I've sort of heard a bunch of women say that, but, you know, if they're friends of mine, I don't really care. But, like, just, we be sitting there, you order this nice meal, and she want to take pictures for 10 minutes. I'm like, and then you see him on the Instagram, and you ain't nowhere in the story. I'm like, oh, hell no, biatch. Like, you didn't have me pay for this dinner, and I ain't even in the story? Oh, hell no. Mm-mm.
Hey, so, you know what? I always try to tell men, because me and Donovan talk about this a lot. There are some women out there that completely not be feeling you, but she has that, well, a girl's got to eat attitude. So I don't like him. I'm not saying it's true about you, Walter. I'm sure they all love you, but I'm saying a lot of times women are like, oh, I don't really feel him like that. He ain't my type. He definitely ain't getting no after the dinner show. But a girl's gotta eat. Yeah, I'll go out because he's gonna spend all this money. I'm gonna go get me a steak and lobster and yeah, all that, and he gonna take me home. So that's why I said, because Walter, you were actually telling me this. That it's possible for a man to spend about $400 on a date. Now he broke it down. He says, he's gonna get his hair cut and shaved and his shoes shine. That's the kind of brother I got. He gonna get his shoes shine and his suit about cleaners. Then he said, I gotta go get the car detailed and gassed up. So that's cost some money. And then I gotta meet with her at dinner or whatever the case is, and whatever we're gonna order. So he says that could come up to $400. And I'm like, why are you men taking women that you don't know out on that kind of date? You don't know that lady. Take her to get some coffee and a donut or something. So you can say, all right, is she worthy of going out on a second date? And even that second date, then maybe you step it up a notch. You're taking a Taco Bell. I mean, I'm just saying, but yeah. I think a $400 dinner should be spent on somebody you actually with, like somebody who gonna put you in the picture with the steak and lobster. Like, this is my man. He took me out on a steak and lobster dinner, but she won't even put you in the damn picture, and you done took her out the steak and lobster. See, that's something that we should be finding out before we even agree to meet at, wherever they eating steak and lobster at. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, and it's just maturity. If you enjoy going out with the girl and it's something you want to do, cool. Like the girl can come with you and, okay, I'm going to go eat at the steakhouse and I'm going to bring her. That's cool. But like just to going out, like I told the girl, she goes, oh, you want to go to Vegas? I said, let me tell you something. One, not really. I said, two, if I'm taking you to Vegas, I'm bone. Like I was direct with her. I said, she goes, oh, we can go as friends. I said, no. That's not how it rolls. Those days are over for me. If I'm with the opposite sex and I'm spending money, it's going down. Otherwise, I don't need to see you. I can take my homeboys.
Because I got two questions for you. We're going to answer Brother Samuel's question, and then I want to ask you this, right? Yeah, Miss Sweets, $400 on a date is like, yikes. Let's say you spend $1,000 on the first date, okay, with this woman.
Where at?
Why is the expectation? I'm not saying you're saying this necessarily, but you kind of maybe alluded to it. Why is it the expectation that you must get something from her because you spent that kind of money on her?
Well, it don't matter how much money. The only reason I'm with a woman is for physical attraction. If I'm not interested in having a woman with the sex with a woman, I'm not talking about my homegirls, my friends, but my homegirls, I don't go out and spend money on them. My homegirls, we split the check. My homegirls buy me lunch and dinner. So I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about a woman like outside of my friends. The only reason I'm with a woman is because I want to be physically intimate with her. Otherwise, I would just hang out with my homeboys. You know what I'm saying? I'm interested in dating you to build up and us get together and us build a life. But that's because I want to have sex with you consistently. And there's baby oil and all kinds of things going on. Otherwise, I don't need a woman in my life. And so I don't feel like I need to pay for it. Like if I'm just going to take you out and we just having a good time, I don't need to do that. Man, you know how, like I spent 33 cents on First Republic stock options that I just sold for $1.40. And one day, I bought them, what was that? I bought them Monday and sold them on Tuesday. Period. So, and that's the way I think. You know what I'm saying? So, and then if you really have your stuff together, you don't even have to take a woman out. A woman will come over, she'll meet you at a bar and have drinks, spending money, and women vice versa. Because you have to start thinking about your future. And a girl that will have you go out and spend that kind of money on her without even thinking about the rest of your future, y'all have no conversations, she ain't the one. Because I can tell you right now, man, you can go so many websites, massage parlors, you can be in and out of there for $120. And they'll massage you too. And you get some candy on the way out. You know what I'm saying? Like $400, that's 3 trips. I mean, I'm just saying, women, you guys need to really just start understanding the psyche. Like if men, you could hear us talking, this is what we would say. Like, booty, I tell you what, I don't care if the sex was the greatest. Once it's over, it's over. Okay,
That's what we
I had
say.
sex with this girl. The story ain't worth $400.
Right. So let's answer Brother Samuel's question. What age do you both think is the youngest a person should court or marry? What is the principle it should be based upon?
I don't have an age limit. I mean, if she's 29 and I'm 53, but she's about it, she can get it and she's ready to move. I don't really judge her age. You know, I mean, I don't have 29-year-old women in my life. I'm just using that as an example. I don't think it's age. Long as she's about it. Like I cannot date a woman that isn't interested in saving, buying real estate, investing, building our future, protecting our families. I can't do it. I might, me being, if I was single, I might sleep with one or just hang out. But no, that's it. I ain't gonna be picking you up. Hey, I'm gonna take you out. No, it's like, hey, I want to go out tonight. Do you want to come with me? It's gonna be like that. Period. And I think as men get older, this happens more.
For me, and because I want to kind of just make it a little bit more well-rounded. So in most places, the age of majority is 18, right? So what I'm saying is that the age of majority, 18, is considered an adult. I personally don't recommend anybody who is older. I would even say like even, I don't know, 5 years older than an 18-year-old to date an 18-year-old, because to me, essentially, an 18-year-old is still a child, just kind of, it literally was just a child, and in their thinking and just being able to maybe do things for themselves. And so they're still learning too. But I think for me, I wouldn't date anybody more than 10 years younger than me. And maybe more than, maybe 10 years older. Now, maybe I would if he was like healthy and, things like that. But I think you should be wise with who you're dating, because you could be on a different planet from somebody who's 20 if you're 30, right? We know in our 20s, we've gone through a whole lot of learning processes and just a lot of sometimes trauma and drama. And then here you are, you turn 30 and then you try to date somebody who's 20. Well, then now they've got to go through the learning curve and things like that. So you're not necessarily on the same planet. And I kind of feel like that too with older men, or let's say even older women who date people who are significantly younger than them. So let's say a 50-year-old man is dating a 30-year-old woman. You're not on the same planet nowhere. You're not on the same planet mentally, emotionally, probably not financially, right? Like you're not, what do you talk about? One of my favorite songs in the whole world is Hey 19 by Steely Dan. Walter's a Steely Dan fan. He's been longer than I've been, right?
Yeah, that's a good song.
Hey 19, he's Donald Fagen, he's the one that's singing. He's singing from an older man's point of view. And he's telling her, hey 19, that's Aretha Franklin. Like that's Aretha Franklin. And he says, she don't remember or even know the Queen of Soul. So he's also saying, we have nothing in common at all. So like, what he's basically saying is, yeah, it's cute. You're a younger woman, but we really don't have nothing in common. What am I doing here, right? So that I always reference that song because a lot of times people get with somebody who's younger and then they lament. They cry about, they don't understand. They this, they that. Like I've talked to a couple of older men who said they were talking to younger women and they say, well, they don't text back right away. Or they only want to text. And I'm like, okay, brother, when you was that age, you was stringing cans together, making phone calls, right? But in this day and age, that generation, that is their form of communication. It's texting. So you're demonizing her for doing what her generation does. And that's, hey, how you doing? Smiley emoji, right? But as an older guy, you're like, texting wasn't even nowhere thought of when you was dating, but you're mad at her for doing what comes natural to her. So it's like, for you being the older person, you have to reevaluate. Okay, hey, 19. Okay. I'm used to people picking up the phone saying, hey, how you doing, honey? I just thinking about you. I ain't used to somebody texting me, leaving me on read, and then responding back 3 days later. I ain't used to that. So you're going to have to get on somebody that's on the same playing field or the same planet as you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you have to, I mean, I can tell you for me, and I'll just be honest, ladies, and you take this how you want it. I'm 53. And for me to find a woman my age that looks even close to my age and has the energy and is not wearing tube socks, and I don't know what the hell they'd be wearing. They dress like they're just trying to be comfortable. For me to find a woman that's 53, that's even looks remotely as healthy, young, and is outgoing, I have to look through 500 women.
Now stop it.
I mean, okay, maybe 400. I'm
You
dead serious.
in California, the land of smoothies and gems.
But I don't know. I mean, it depends. There's some areas where women are better taken care of because of their surroundings. But for the most part, I see, man, like there's women that I consider dating in the past. If I was going to date, and I look at them now, if I went out with them, they'd be like, oh, she robbing the cradle. Oh, man, she dug deep. Oh, he out with his mama. I mean, Lord have mercy. So
look at this comment right here.
Oh, I mean,
but she ain't lying though.
Well, it just depends. So some guys were like, for a guy like me, I need to be like, I'm more energetic. I'm interested. So many things I want to get done. When a woman says to me, oh, that's just the way I am, check, she's off the list, scratch. I don't give a F. I don't ever want to hear a woman say that's just the way I am. That's losing. And no one can benefit from that. So I think women, you guys just need to, I don't know, go to social media, open a magazine, see what's current. We don't want to, that's just me speaking. So if I was going to date a woman in her 50s, I mean, most of the time she going to look 60. Or maybe she looked 50 and I just look 35. I don't know. But I'm telling you.
Let me ask you this, because I asked Donovan the same thing, right? What should a woman in her 50s look like? Opposed to what you see her look like. Like in your mind, you're saying she looks like she's 60. So describe that to me, and then what should she look like?
Like, for instance, I was on this, one of my friends showed me this dating website. And so I was just looking at all the pictures of the women. And my God, the hair's looking wrinkled. It's crazy. They could care less. Anything did it. They out with tennis shoes on, a sweater wrapped around them on the mountain. I'm just like, God dang. Like, no. Listen, women, if you want a man, I don't care about his money, but if you want a man that's working out and he's really fighting to stay up and be in good shape and take care of himself, you got to do it too. I can't do it. I'm telling you. So that's why if I'm dating someone, I end up dating someone, like I'm 53, I'd have to date someone in my 30s, or, it may be in their 40s, 50s, like, forget about it. I think I don't know, just based on what I'm seeing. So, and I know Black women tend to age better. So, women of color tend to do better. But women that aren't as dark tend to not really age that well. So, I mean, if I take a white woman out, and it's just because of their skin pigment. I mean, I look 35 and she looks 65. If we both 53.
Hey, you know what though? I mean, that's really something to consider. You know what I mean? Because there's times where I see brothers with white women and they might have been together for a long time. And it's like, wow, he looks a lot younger. But then you have to look at the nature of both of them. Black tend to, not crack as fast. It do crack now. It crack
Right.
don't crack as fast. And then he with her is like her whole face is scrunched up, right? Like a whole albino raisin. You know what I mean?
Right. And I don't to your comment, average thinker, I don't really have a preference in a woman. I mean, black, Mexican, I mean Asian, I don't really care. I mean, I just
They eating you up in these comments.
I mean, I don't really care about a woman's race. I mean, I love black women, of course, sure. So I mean, I think as a free thinker, you just date somebody that you like. If I had to nail it down to just dating black women or dating Mexican women, or if I was Indian, I was just stuck to dating Indian women, help me Jesus. I would be suicidal. That's why I don't understand some of you guys like, I only date black men. Well, shit, good luck. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the pool shrinks. And I'm just speaking for me. I know, listen, date who you want, love who you want to love. All I'm saying is I can't even say I like the rainbow no more. Damn, I crack open up some Bud Light. But I do look 35. Don't be hating. I'm sitting over here in the dark. Trust me. If I take my shirt off, I look 28. So, and the crazy part is, and I'm not saying I look 35 to be a dick. When I go out to grocery stores, I get people pass. Yeah, you be with me. People pass out when they look at my ID. Oh, hell no. So I had my son got pissed. Somebody was like, oh, like, you guys are brothers? My son was hot. I was like, I don't know if that means I look really good or you look older. So anyways, and it's not just about the woman's appearance, it's her energy. I've been out with women my age. And it's, I got to work tomorrow morning, so I can't go out. I'm like, so something that you don't got to do till tomorrow is going to dictate tonight? I can't get out like that. I'm sorry. It don't make sense to me. Life is too short. I got to wait for the weekend and Saturday night or Friday night because you don't have to do anything Saturday morning. Then Sunday morning, you got church. So Saturday night, we got to cut. I'm not trying to do all that. If I wanted to date Methuselah, I would just go back in time.
See, I mean, I guess, you know what I mean? But that AD has me cracking up really. But then that goes back to what she said as far as hospice dudes, you know what I mean? Like you talking about, you don't want a woman your age because of how she look and, attitude and this, that, and the other. See, the other thing too is this mindset. And I'm not saying this about you, Walter. I'm just saying in general, because there's a lot of men who think like that. Oh, well, I don't want no woman talking about she going to church. And, it sounds like that woman is like, all right, I don't want to be out in the streets and the nightclubs with you all night long. Yeah, I'm in my 50s and I do got to go to church and got some things I want to do. And so it's like, at the age of 50, I don't know, I would think most men, but kind of like what I'm learning lately, most men in their 50s and 60s ain't trying to settle down. They still running the streets, getting women pregnant, not all some, getting women pregnant in their 50s and 60s and just like, when are you ever going to settle down? You know what I mean?
That's madness. I don't understand getting a woman pregnant in your 50s unless you're married to her or you guys have plans. Because I know several guys that have gotten women pregnant. I get it. But like, if you're just out there getting people pregnant, that's silly. And I'm not a club dude. The point I'm making is sometimes you just want to do something and you don't want to have all these rules based on a person's age and the way that they think. Like, let's go to it's Tuesday. Let's hit the movies. It's an 8:00 movie. It means we're going to be home at 10:30. I don't want to hear I got to work tomorrow. And it's like, come on now. We only live once.
Let me ask you this then. Because you talking about you don't want to hear you got to work tomorrow. Or are you going to marry this woman and take her up off her job so she can gallivant all night long with you?
Well, that's how I get down. I mean, shit.
Right. So, but I'm saying, because if I came across a man like that, like, baby, we need to be out all night long. I'm like, great, put a ring on this finger. Now I can not work no more. And then I can hang out with you until the crack of dawn like Cinderella. You know what I'm saying?
I think the message gets blurred. That's not what I'm saying. I don't want to be out all night. I'm just saying sometimes I want to go do something And I don't want to hear, I'm not talking about being out every night. I mean, it's most nights I don't want to be out either. I'm at home. But I'm saying once in a while it's cool to hit a movie, or it's cool to, hey, let's go hop in an Uber and let's go grab dinner. We can do that. We're not in the crypt. We can still go out and do stuff. That's what I mean. I'm not in the clubs and lounges and all that shit. I don't get out like that. But I'm just saying we could go do stuff, and it doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm tired and this and that. And like twerking and all that stuff. Let's keep the conversation like grown, because like let's not get into silliness. And I think some of you guys can slow down a little bit. When a man says he doesn't want to be with a woman that's raggedy and just tired all the damn time, doesn't mean he wants to be out in the street all night. It just means that sometimes.
Why is she tired? What is she doing that she's tired?
I'm not talking about a woman that's going to work all day and she's in the ER, she's just coming home and is exhausted. No, I'm just talking about in general, like her state of mind. I'm not talking about her being tired. I'm talking about her state of mind. I've heard women say, oh, that's not the way I am, or I like to do this. I dated a girl and she was just like, 8 o'clock, I got to be in bed because this is the way I am. And I was just like, that ain't going to work for me. It ain't going to work. And I tried it.
Let me answer this. So Brother Salmon says, Jawanda Kunjufu says, children are the reward of life. You see a problem with a man wanting to have children after 50? No, not at all. Because you know what? Strangely enough, and I've already told him no. My father is 79. He talking about he would want to have some more kids, or I should say children, because we should not call children kids. Those adults, right? I'm like, you're not having no more children. I'm 52. You like for real. So the point that I'm making is I don't think there's a problem with a man in his 50s having more children. I do feel like there's a problem with a man in his 50s wanting to have more children with women he's not married to. Like, why are you 50? Not you, Brother Sam, I'm just saying in general. Why are you 50 creating baby mamas? Like, that's something you should have been doing like in your 20s, maybe 30s. But you're in your 50s and encroaching on 60, creating baby mamas. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm going with it. And then you're creating baby mamas, and at this point in the game, you're knocking on Social Security's door, and you're talking about, I can't afford it. How's she gonna get me for child support? Well, you think because you 50, child support has passed you by? That's not how that works. So that's what I'm saying, because there's a lot of men out there still, creeping and crawling, and then they out there, getting the you is the pappy knock on the door.
I mean, ain't none of a vasectomy can't fix, or
and
in my case,
even those ain't 100%.
They're pretty damn good. They're 100% so far. I mean, I had a reverse vasectomy. That way, if I ever change my mind, something crazy, a comet come down to the earth and strike next to me, and I wake up and I want to have kids in my 50s, there's no way in hell I'm having any more kids. And unless I just say there's a 1 in a zillion chance, like 1 in a, falling shooting star. If I was married, if we had more money than God, and I knew no matter what, that kid was always going to be taken care of, and I can always afford staff and nannies to take care of this kid, I might. But it would have to be that. And I sure ain't be trying. I ain't going to have. Because if I'm 55 and I'm having a woman, that means my woman having a kid or a child, that means my woman she's probably at least 35, 40. And she's 40 having kids. Oh Lord, that's bad news. I know a lot of women are doing it, but you're gonna be 55, dropping your kid off in high school. You're gonna be 60 at the graduation, which women, I get it, are starting to look better at that age. But is that really something? Do you really want to be doing that in your 50s and 60s? 70s, taking your kid to school? So, and again, men do age better, period. Say what you want to say, men age better. Maybe you don't agree that I look 35, 45. One thing I don't look is 53. So I can tell you that. And if I date a woman my age, she most likely is going to look 53. Now, again, women of color tend to look a lot younger, right? I mean, I have a lot of women in my life who are my age, and they look a lot younger, women of color. So, but for the most part, we age better. and we recuperate better. It's easy, for a man to work out and get in shape and be able to. Somebody asks, can you perform like a 35-year-old? Well, of course. I mean, that's just strength training and conditioning and proper breathing. I mean,
Well,
I
yeah.
would beg to differ that older men perform better. My sexual skills are better now than when I was 35. I can promise you that. I mean, I'm just saying, because just based on education, knowledge, techniques, and things you do to take care of your body, like I would think men my age that are working on themselves tend to be better than it. Because people think, oh, he's 35, he's 22, he can do it all night. Okay. He probably 2-minute man. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what to do with himself. He don't know how to breathe properly. Anyways, you might want to change the subject.
I mean, we could keep you guys. The link is open if y'all want to click on the link. Y'all, we want to come on here and give you say so and all of that. I mean, I don't know. I guess I never argue with people over their preferences. If you want a younger woman, whatever the case is. But as I always say, I've seen it. I've seen these old triple OGs out there with young women, and then they end up, having ailments, and I need you to take me to my doctor's appointment, and all.
I mean, that's just ignorant. That's just crazy. I mean, you talking about old dudes and long suits and Cadillacs that look 70. We ain't talking about those dudes. We talking about
I know.
men, me and Tyrese's age, that
Wait.
date women in their 30s and 40s
No, wait,
based
hold
on
on.
our energy level.
Wait, because there's men in their 50s and their 60s that are decrepit. You know what I mean? Talking about, oh, I look good. I still got it going on. I want me a young woman. It's like, you can't even see out of the other eye. You can't even see the young woman. But yet you talking about how she needs to look in order to get with you. And it's like, I'm scheduling doctor's appointments for you to take your medicine, honey.
Okay, we ain't talking about those guys. Those guys, we're not talking about. Those guys need to work on themselves, and they got work to do. I'm talking about the man that is working on himself constantly, mentally, physically, spiritually, you name it. That dude, that's the guy I'm talking about. What he then wants in a woman, like someone like Tyrese is rich. I don't know how he is physically and mentally, but he is rich, and that is one of the pillars. And women, if a man is loaded, they will do things that they would not normally do. They will date a guy that's 30 years older because he is loaded. You see it all day in Hollywood. You see it all the time. I was out in Orange County, Newport Beach, at this restaurant. It's off the hook in Newport Beach. And I saw so many young women in there with dudes that looked old, like dudes that looked like they were clearly in their late 50s. Grayed out, they just looked older. And they had women, and I would never do this, women like in their 20, 21. Like that, I would not want to be seen with a woman in her young 20s. That just, what the hell are we going to talk about? I don't need to take a woman that's 22 out to dinner. We can just go home, right? Because that's all this is about. I don't need to spend money on dinner and try and create a conversation about, Barney or like Scooby-Doo. I don't even know what kids, who they watch these days. You know what I'm saying? Blues Clues. We talking about that. So that woman, that age, you can just take straight to the house. I'm not. We're talking about older women that are like 30s, 40s. And I'm not saying I wouldn't date a woman that's 53 of my age, because it's something that I'd be open to if I was in a position to, assuming she had those traits. And notice I'm not talking about her beauty and is she pretty? I'm not talking about that, because that fades. I'm talking about mentally, physically, her attitude. What is she trying to get done? And women, I will tell you, if you get with a guy that's about his shit, and if you're not stacking your future, you're not saving money, you are not on that level, a real good dude is not going to kick it with you long term. I can tell you right now, I've been out with women and they're like shoes and this, and I'm like, so you're not saving money, you don't have life insurance, you're not putting money away every month, you're not like trying to get into real estate or something. You just getting paid and blowing your stuff, and that's it. And you cool with that? I mean, that it has. I can't be around a woman like that long term. And I've told women over and over, I can't do nothing with you because I'm gonna be taking care of you. You don't bring shit to the table. Like, if it's just, it's never gonna work. And women, you guys are kind of like that too. You want a man that's performing, like like financially, and it's got goals and dreams. Matter of fact, I would say you guys, women, are more like that than we are. Because you ain't no, you got to have a job if you want to be with me. Ain't nothing going on but the rent.
Have to
I mean,
have
the
a
rent is something.
job if you want
Yeah,
to be with me. Hold on, ain't nothing going on but the rent.
a woman sung that song, not a man. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
So
but was she wrong? No, was
no,
she wrong?
she's right. A man, that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying, but for a man like me, I want a woman that is trying to get those things done. And if she's not gonna, let's say financially she is not on a level, I don't believe there's such thing that you can't save, but let's say she can't save as much as me, then she can help me, right? And I'm not looking for a wife. I'm looking for a life partner, period. Wife to me is cool, piece of paper. First of all, most of that paper, the husband and wife, most of y'all don't even believe that shit because the divorce rate wouldn't be 60% if it was people believed it, and the other 30% wouldn't be cheating if people felt marriage is sacred. I'm just saying, like, so miss me. No, I'm looking for a life partner. Do I want to get married to her? Sure. Not based just because of religion, but based on, okay, we're married, that makes us stronger, sure. But ultimately, I'm marrying her to create a life partner. So if I can have a life partner, which means we could do stuff together, we have to. Matter of fact, I'd say me and a woman that cared for each other, that owns stuff together, is stronger than a marriage with two people that don't. Because you don't have, like, for instance, me and my woman own stuff together. I'm less likely to go out and mess around and cheat. Not only that, I don't want to hurt her, but I don't want to destroy our stuff. We got businesses and stuff, and I'm out with a 304. I mean, like, so all that stuff comes crumbling down.
Let me
So
answer this. Manrico, how you doing today? He says maybe off topic. No, we're just having an open discussion now. Start off talking about Tyrese. We can continue talking about it because child support is really a big issue, right? But as I always say, and some people don't like it, if you don't want child support, then stay up on her bed. You know what I mean? I always say, ask yourself two questions. Can I see myself spending at least 18 to 24 years with this woman? Because sometimes they make you pay for college. Or would I marry this woman? If you say no to either one of those questions, zip your pants up and get ghost, right? It's just that simple. But yeah, child support it's a serious issue. And Black America, you made a good point that a lot, especially people who are in marriages, they doing the right thing. They're married, they're having children. And unfortunately, when they get divorced, yeah, that's when it kind of gets nasty, right? But Manrico says, maybe off topic. Congrats, Demetri, on fitness. Can you share your routine? Well, I'm one of those people, and I'm 52 years old, and some days I feel 52. Some days I feel 62. But anyway, I don't know. I feel like fitness is a journey. It's not something you do, you get to where you need to go, and then you stop type of thing. I work out quite a bit. Mostly I cycle at the gym. We do cycling classes. We're supposed to be starting running now, but that's kind of not working out just because of a schedule thing. And I lift weights at home and, just other things in between. But the most important thing is I keep moving. I also try to watch my diet. Sometimes it watches me. And I drink a lot of water. I try not to stress out. I try to get as much rest as I can. And I mean, it's really that simple, but I think we need to realize that staying fit is a lifestyle. It's an ongoing thing because especially like on the internet, Instagram and all that, we see all these people say, yesterday I was fat, now I'm skinny. It's like, well, not quite, right? Yeah, you'll see people seemingly do it overnight, but it's not an overnight thing. It's a constant thing. But I always say too that dieting doesn't start in your mouth per se, like what you put in and what you put out. Don't put out. It starts in your mind. You just have to make a decision of what's best for you. I struggle. I eat some things that I'm not supposed to eat a lot. But instead of feeling guilty about it, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start over tomorrow. I'm gonna start over tomorrow and drink some green tea behind it because green tea is supposed to kind of help neutralize sugar or whatever the case is. But I just keep moving. That's as best I can put it. Just keep moving. And other thing is a lot of times too when we get our age, and I say our age in our 50s, Black America, I'm gonna bring you up around meet you real quick. When we get our age, we think, oh, I gotta stop moving. Oh, I'm old now. I ain't gonna try to work on myself. I'm just gonna let it do what it do. I'm gonna put this moo on and I'm gonna call it a life, right? No, you gotta keep moving. Because when you stop moving, then you lose it, right? Whatever it is, your mind, your physique, whatever, you lose it. So you have to keep moving. I don't care what it is. You go for a walk, you run, you cycle, you lift weights, whatever it is, just keep moving. So, Black America, what's going on with you?
Good afternoon. Hey, D. Hey, Walter. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing well. How about yourself?
I'm fine. I just want to thank you, Walter, man, for being honest up here with these ladies, man, and actually really explaining to them that what we really just want from them. And, if we're going to spend the money, we just want a little reciprocation. That's all. It's nothing big. Just a little reciprocation. If we gonna come out the pocket, you gonna come out the pants. And it's just refreshing to hear some. Don't look at me like that. It's refreshing to hear somebody not lie to the ladies and say, oh, we like you and we love you. We want to be with you forever. No, every woman is not a forever woman. That's why you get them when they're young and fresh, and when they start looking older and gaining weight, you've grown accustomed to it, so it doesn't bother.
I mean, yeah, so we agree on most of it. To answer, jump in these comments, I don't know if most men want a reverse vasectomy, but I got one, and it's, so my relationship, I'm dating somebody a long time, I ain't got to worry about it. And then if we get to the point where she wants to have kids, I mean, I'm past that now, but we, could have had kids. And I'm not, the child support thing, I think and I don't think we can ever fix that. I just wish men and women could just get together and disagree on something. Robbing a man or a woman too for all her wealth because y'all got a kid together, I think is insane. So, and yeah, to reiterate on Black America's comment, I mean, women, be realistic. A man that is interested in women wants to have sex with you, period. If you think, he just want to have friends and dinner, no, he don't. He is lying to you. Pornhub and Brazzers are not the 1 and 2 websites on the planet because men just want to spend time with you. We want to sleep with you eventually and sooner than later. I'm not talking about the first date because then you're a 304 and maybe you're not, but it's going to take a lot to convince that she ain't that. But I'm talking, after 1, 2, 3 dates, and I'm talking about I like you too. That's one thing. I like you. I'm trying to get to know you. If I'm just taking you out, which I try not to do, just taking a woman out just because we're going to have sex, that's just a waste of time and money. I mean, I'd rather spend that on my woman, you know what I'm saying, and work on our future versus just taking some chick out, spending a few $100, and then that's just.
So you said you would prefer, and I would agree with that. I think, yeah, men want to, get in the bed, right? I agree with that. But you said we'd rather do it sooner than later. So what's the appropriate time for a woman to, what do you deem to be the appropriate time for her to get physical with you? And in Black America, if you can answer that too.
I mean, I'm not the first date. Like if I go on a woman in the first date and she is, and I've made this mistake, taking women out I'm taking her to a nice place. I'm trying to build a relationship, and all she want to do is have too much to drink, and then end up on my office couch. That's or that ain't the one. And even if you are that type of woman and you want to get busy on the first day, and I get it, sometimes it happens and relationships work for a long time. But I'm like, Joe, I don't want to know. Make me think. We go out a couple times. I dated a girl and we went out 2 or 3 times. And she was like, okay, this is date number 3. Either you like me or you don't. It's going down. I was like, okay, I can respect that. Let's get it. So generally, I don't know how many dates Will Smith and Hits seems to think is date number 3. That's probably more appropriate. Because you don't want to think she does this with every dude. And so I would say drag it out a little bit.
So you don't want to think that she does that with every dude. You just want her to do it with you.
No, so I'm saying.
What if a lot of dudes that she's been with thought like that?
I'm talking about the first date. I don't want to I'm not going to marry a girl that I had sex with on the first date unless it's somebody that I knew. You know what I'm saying? Like me and the girl I was dating for a long time, we hung out for months. And then on our first date, we were intimate, but I spent 3 months hanging out with her. It was different, getting to know her, blah, blah, blah. So I got a lot. I was able to learn a lot. So, I mean, if I have a friend for 5 years and all of a sudden we have sex, I'm not talking about her because I know that chick already. I know her weaknesses and everything. And I made a decision to sleep with her because I want to build a relationship further. I'm talking about a girl I just met. I go out, get dressed up, go pick you up, and I'm all taking you somewhere nice because I'm considering going to date number 2 or 3. And, I see you in my life in the future. And we just get, it get nasty. That's what I'm talking about.
See, and Black America, if you want to answer that real quick.
Okay, so I totally agree with him. I admit I had a couple of first date hobnobs, but if nothing is cracking by the third date, I'm not talking to you anymore. The whole thing about it is if I'm not attracted to you as a woman, see, once again, we come with the honesty thing. If I'm not attracted to a woman, I'm not even going to talk to her. She won't even get my time because my time is too valuable. If I choose to take said woman on a date and then everything goes cool and, we go hang out and then, by the third date, if nothing is going on, then I'm letting that go right there. I'll be moving on.
Now I'm not, so I don't have a time frame. Like if I like a woman, I will go on 5-6 dates without sleeping with her. That's what I'm saying is I don't want to sleep with her at least until the third date. So I'm on the other side saying I want to have a minimum, I would prefer, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to try and clean it up. I would prefer to drag out sleeping with a woman that I want to spend my life with. That, like, if this is my wife, this is wifey material, then I don't mind not sleeping with her right away because I know eventually it's going to happen. What I'm doing is getting to know her up front. Of course, I'm sexually attracted to her, and that is coming. So I don't have a particular like date 3 or 4. If we go 8 dates and we don't have sex, you know what I'm saying? But I know I'm trying to make her the one, then I could deal with that. I'm saying eventually.
I got a question for you, Walter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're about the same age. You're a couple of years older than me. Can you know if you like a woman without having sex with her?
Oh yeah. I mean, but see, for me, I tend to be attracted to a woman that's trying to do certain things. Like my sister will tell you, a couple of the women I've dated haven't been like supermodels or like all glamorous, and they've just been cute little chicks, down to earth, that were just Like when you met Laura, you remember Laura? She wasn't like all, y'all expected me to walk in with bam, 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 bam. She was just some little cool chick that was just, you know what I'm saying?
She was cute.
Fresh off the boat. Yeah, no, she was cute, but I'm saying she wasn't like all glamorous. She was just chill, down to earth, da da da. Cool chick. That's what I'm saying. So, and then, my last relationship, we went months without touching each other. But ultimately, I knew that this is the person that I wanted to spend my life with. So, yeah, of course, I'm physically attracted. I was physically attracted to both of them. You were there when I met Laura. I think, no, you wasn't, because the fellas we were trying to hide from Kato's wife, but they all good now. She's like, they have a wonderful relationship. But that was a whole nother story. But so I wasn't really, so yeah, I can like a woman without sleeping with her, because the sex will then fade. I mean, there's some days you're not going to want to have sex, and in a relationship after a while, you'll be like, oh shit, what we doing tonight? Not sex. You know what I'm saying? So I have to get to know a woman, because the sex sometimes may not be there some days. And I want to be like, I'm with this person and we have something in common. You know what I'm saying? Because the sex will come and go. It just does. So I can like a woman without sleeping with her, of course. Matter of fact, most of the women that I've been with long term, I've, became really interested in them before I slept with them. Matter of fact, once I sleep with the woman early, I lose interest. Honestly, like if I sleep with you on the first date, it's like all my emotion goes out with all those millions of kids that could have been.
I don't want it if it's that easy.
Post nut clarity.
Yeah, like it's true. Like because you feel like, okay, that was easy. You know what I'm saying? Hit the button. And so it just drains the life out of you, out of the relationship.
Brother Samuel's got a great point here. When it comes to choosing a wife, sex clouds the thinking. It's like drinking and driving. Your judgment is not that great. It's best to be sober-minded. And we all know that. Yeah, we all know that. I had see, one good thing about me, I was mentored by a lot of great men, right? I had 2 fathers, still have one, love them. Brothers, but when I went to work at Frito-Lay in my young 20s, there's a lot of older, men that I work with, right? And they would give me the game. They would teach me a lot of stuff. I mean, one of my good friends at the job, he was an ex-pimp, right? So he would tell me all the stuff, and he says, sex does cloud the judgment. He says, because when you're in the bed, you got all these warm and fuzzy feelings. He says, but when your feet hit the ground, you still got the same, same problems and things that were going on. So it's better to basically know the person before you even get in the bed with that person as best you can.
That there's truth to that. I mean, sex does cloud your judgment, because when you're having sex with a woman, you're not really thinking about our future and this and that. Especially if you're present with a woman, you're not thinking about all that stuff. At least I don't. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to get to know her. And I'm talking about women I anticipate being with. I don't want to date a woman that I don't see spending the rest of my life with. I don't have that type of time and energy. I'd rather spend that money on stock options or doing something else, or taking my kids somewhere cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm just out paying for booty. Now, I'm not talking about if I want to go out and have dinner, and if I'm single, okay, hey, you want to come with me? I'm going to dinner. Most likely I'm gonna end up paying for that.
Let me address this, and I want to go back to Thunder's comment as well. A Fact Not Feeling says that's a substitution for sex. Don't cloud women's judgment. Women use it to cloud a man's judgment. Well, I mean, we hear men all the time say, basically, what I won't do to get it type of thing. So it's like, Is she clouding your judgment, or are you clouding your own judgment? Are you not taking, I don't know, 5 minutes to say, man, I want to do this more than I've ever wanted to do anything in my life? Because, of course, those things are momentary, right? However, my judgment is going to be clouded if I do this. I don't really know this lady. I could get her pregnant. I mean, it could be a lot of things that'll cost me something if I do this, right? So if the judgment is yours, then aren't you clouding your own judgment? Like, she's just there, right? You guys say all the time, oh, we're very physical creatures. We look at women and we just, right? We go crazy. We're visual creatures. But, I mean, God made her that way, or maybe her surgeon did. I don't know. But that's kind of on you to say, I'm not going, because it's going to cost me something that I don't want to pay for. Right?
That's the difference in thinking between men and women. Men and women think totally different.
You said what?
I say that is the difference in thinking between men and women. Women think totally different about it. We don't think about things like that. That's why when a man goes into war, or you're in the army, you see a fallen comrade right in front of you, you don't stop and see if he's okay. You keep pushing forward. It's just the way that our brains are wired.
Yeah, but then your brain, not, the way your brain is working is causing your pockets to be hurting. Hey, that's some bars. I mean, I'm just saying, because we have this conversation all the time, talk about how you don't want to pay child support and, this, that, and the other. But then on the other hand, you say, well, we ain't really thinking about none of that kind of stuff. We're just kind of diving in. Thunder, I want to answer your question. It says, have you heard there's a surge in vasectomies being performed lately? I have. I also heard some women are going forth getting their tubes tied. I think that's due to the whole, abortion bill. And yeah, you say, I think this will solve a lot of child support problems, or Agnes and Gertrude are always an option. I'm just saying. So Agnes and Gertrude are his very older ladies. But that's another thing. See, I'm just letting y'all in on something. Y'all talking about, I don't want me an old woman, a woman in her 50s. Guess what? A woman in her 50s ain't going to have no children because she cannot. You know what I mean? But y'all out there crap shooting with the younger women, and then you end up being a new daddy all the way up into your 50s, 60s, and 70s. And I don't know. I just think there's benefits to dating an older woman. Not even dating an older woman, but, settling down with an older woman, right? Y'all go build a life together. But now y'all want to be out there dipping and diving in everybody, who can still give you children.
And that's not even a good way of thinking. Can I say something about the child support with this Tyrese guy?
Sure.
Okay, so Tyrese probably has a lot more money than quite a few people. So, and I don't care how much he has to pay. That's $650,000. That's 10% of his net worth or whatever. He has new movies coming out, and as long as the Lord blesses him, he's going to keep on working. So I really don't care about how much he has to spend in child support. But the main thing about it is he was married. He was actually married to both of the women who he had kids with. When we talk about child support, we are talking about, don't make it an incentive for the woman to leave. If she leaves you and you guys are married, she should get nothing. $10,000 a month for a child, and you have some people in America only making $30,000 and $40,000 a year. That's completely ridiculous. It's not so much how much money it is. You have to look at what an average person in America makes and see somebody like Kanye giving up $200,000 a month, Tyrese giving up whatever he has to give up. It's now up to $20,000. Dr. Dre giving his ex-wife $200 million. If a woman leaves you, if she chooses to leave, she should get nothing.
Yeah. Well, the thing about, child support, especially on that level, I guess sometimes they go by the lifestyle that the child is accustomed to. You know what I mean? So I think maybe they take that into consideration. Because on the surface, we're like, yeah, $10,000 is a lot of money a month for a child. But what was that child accustomed to when you were in the child's life? So I think that's kind of what they go on. And Turner, Ira, how you doing? Says a wise man said it takes 90 days to determine if two people are compatible for each other. That's a lot of questioning and presenting evidence. Hence, it's called courtship. Yes, Nation of Islam. Take the relationship to court. Weigh all of the evidence. As you said in quotation, the evidence is, how that person is as a person. You also want to see what their family is like, because when you marry them or whatever, or you get involved with them, their family comes along. So there's a lot of things you have to weigh. You got to put the evidence on the table and say, hey, all right, this is what you're working with. This is what I'm working with. Is this something that we can combine and make a good life, right? Settle down to a good choice. But a lot of people don't even get the 90 days out the way, right? It's like 9 minutes or whatever. And then sometimes you settle down with a person you don't really want to be settled down with. But if you took the 90 days or, a considerable enough time to even ask those questions, then you would come to the conclusion like, yeah, no, I don't like the way she moves. I don't like the way she thinks. I don't like the way she speaks, or vice versa. But a lot of times, and especially y'all men, y'all get enamored by how she looks. And I keep saying I'm a creator show. I've been saying it for years, but maybe it's kind of already here. For men, the title of the show is What's Behind the Booty? Okay? Now, what I mean by right. What I mean by that is all y'all see is the booty. Oh man, she got it going on. And y'all get women on how they look, but then you get to kind of know this woman after you probably put a seed up in her or whatever, and you're like, I don't really even like her like that. And that's because you did not ask what was behind her big giant butt. You didn't care. I don't care. I want to be with her. Everybody's going to see me with her. I sound like Trump, huh? Everybody's going to see me with her. I don't care. It's how she looks. But she's a horrible person behind that big giant butt. She's a money grubbing gold digger behind that big giant butt. She can't keep a house clean. She halfway keep her big giant butt clean or any of that other stuff. But then you kind of, now you're mad, but it's like, who should you really be mad at? It's yourself or the big giant booty? You know what I mean? So what's behind the booty? I may or may not come up with that show. It's really like to help men and, help women too. But y'all really need to start asking those questions. And child support and being with people you really don't want to be with would be a non-issue, I would think. Let me get to these comments. Eunice, how you doing? Let's see here. Where did I go? LS, she says, LS, she says, stop it, Demetra. Sarah and Isaac at 90. I mean, but did you hear what you said, though? You said three good words. You said Sarah and Isaac. You know what I mean? So that denotes that Sarah and Isaac were together. You know what I mean? So back then they were still having children and all that. Sarah and Isaac wanted to do that. They were together. They could take care of each other in every way, shape, or form. But now Isaac want to be with Sarah and marry Jane and whoever else. You know what I mean? So you kind of answered your own question. You also say, then the father should get custody. I mean, I agree. There's cases where a lot of cases fathers should get custody. They just should. But those are the things you think about before you get you with the booty. Booty. If we don't work out and I put a child, we have a child or whatever, would you mind me taking custody of our child, to raise the child or whatever? No, I don't mind. Or yeah, I would mind. Like, so those are the things you need to find out until you get, before you get bamboozled by the booty. Rain, it says, so you're talking about Black American. Ebony says a woman should get a divorce if she's unhappy. What the hell? LS, I'm gonna bring you up here. I'm gonna mute your mic though, just for a second. And attorney said, yes, ma'am. Assalamu alaikum. Yes, wa alaikum salam to you as well. And that's Walter, actually. And let's see here, the Hula Gang. You say you're talking to Rain, and Brother Samuel says, right, marriage is not just the uniting of two people, but two families. Yeah, it's like everything. Because we hear a lot when people say, I don't even like her mama like that, you know. Well, you would have known her mama was a nosy so-and-so that can't mind her business if you would have spent a little bit more time, right? Maybe going over to some family dinners, having some conversations with her mama, see how her mama talks to her daddy. Her mama is woo, 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 shut up, Buster, yeah, I'm talking. Then she probably done passed that stuff down to her daughter too. I don't know, maybe. Entree, how you doing? And AD says Steve Harvey said that. And how many times did he cheat and marry his mistress? And Marjorie was a 304 and drug dealers. So come on. Well, you know what? That's actually not true. And if you, it's funny because I just watched Steve Harvey on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp, and he breaks down everything, the timeline, and even Marjorie's ex-husband, that one that was in jail, he's doing like the blog circuit now. So I saw him on an interview, and he kind of debunked a lot of stuff. So you got to kind of watch those things, but I know a lot of that stuff is kind of rumors out there. Let's see here. And your average logical thinker says, Demetria, have you heard that child support officers have altered DNA tests to say the accused father is 99%, so they get paid? I would not doubt it at all. That does not surprise me. All right, so let me just skip down a little bit so I can get to the people on the screen. And you never know how you doing. You say he don't owe that much. I mean, depending on who you ask, right? He's got $6 million. So Jamal, how you doing? All right. And Rain says, hold on, Demetria, I have a big natural booty, but you probably got something behind that booty too, right? You probably got some sense. You know, more than there is just to be wagging it around, right? You got more to keep a man's attention than a big giant butt. So it's all right to have a big giant butt, but what's behind that booty? LS, what's going on with you? LS. Hello. Is it me or is it you? Can y'all hear him or is it just me?
I can't hear him. He didn't say anything.
Okay. So LS, we can't hear you. I don't know if you're trying to speak yet. Maybe you have to go out and come back in. Yeah, try that. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think a lot of this stuff is avoidable if we just ask the right questions. And listen, I always tell y'all, I'm not sitting up here as a deity, like I've done everything right. I'm so perfect, Nah, I made a lot of mistakes, But as I always said, I got one child. And I got one child because not even that it was necessarily like a financial burden, which it would have been more of, but just because for me, I didn't want a copious amount of baby daddies. And that's just me. I'm not knocking anybody who does. I'm just saying for me, I did not want that. And I'm gonna mute your mic just a little bit, LS, and I'll mute it. I personally didn't want that because it just would have been a lot. You know what I mean? All right, LS, what's on your mind?
I can't call. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to keep it biblical. I was talking about Abraham and Sarah. Abraham and Sarah. Sarah had Abraham's baby, and she was 90. Look, I know that ain't happening now, and I ain't looking forward to happening. But there's some stories out here where women are, past 50 and they having children. I don't suggest it, but it does happen. But it's an interesting convo y'all having about these relationships, and yet it is true that there's no romance without finance. But when you're going out a date, somebody said in the chat, if you can't afford to date, then you shouldn't be dating, and that's true. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't always that we expect something, but a lot of it is, to speak to what Walter was talking about earlier, it's the thrill of the hunt. I mean, yeah, you want to hit, but the hunt does count for a lot. Uh, to go back to Freaknik, I never hit during Freaknik. That wasn't even my goal. It was more about getting my game on and just talking to different females and meeting women from all over everywhere. You know, not just taking her to the room and knocking her down. I mean, I'm not gonna say that's easy because I'm not gonna put women out there like that, but it's it's easy. You can get that when you can't get nothing to eat if you don't have two nickels in your pocket. If you got some game, and I'm sure you learned that from that pimp you used to work with, Demetria. That you can talk up on that all day long,
And you
but
know what?
it's
My dad said he say that all the time. A man can get that before he can get food. So it's everywhere. But the other thing about my friend, who was an ex pimp, I should say, yeah, he taught me a lot of stuff. I'm gonna put you on mute just a little bit. Yeah, he taught me a lot of stuff. We're like a real lot of raw stuff. But y'all know I study a whole lot of stuff. I studied the art of pimping, right? I just have, and so I read Iceberg Slim stuff, and I've researched him and things like that. And he's actually kind of made the blueprint for this pimping that you see now, kind of, sort of, because he learned from somebody. But I also have my daughter and my niece. I had them watch the Mac. I had my nephews read Pimp. That was the name of the book by Iceberg Slim. Because as we've always heard, it's not even about a woman's body. It's about her mind. If you get her mind, there's not a lot you can't make her do, right? And unfortunately, we see that going on a lot. And I have my daughter and my niece watch the movie and really kind of explain to them, because obviously I didn't want them falling into those types of traps, being enamored by a guy to where he's just having it way, doing any and everything. And also have my nephews read the book. Actually, I think only one of them read it, so they can understand, how it works, and to be cognizant of that. But for me, I've learned from a whole lot of people, but I never forgot that. So that's why it's important too to guard your mind. Be careful of things that people may say to you. Especially as women when we're younger. It's true for men, but I'm speaking from a woman's point of view. We don't really have a lot of sense. You know what I mean? So if you're not really grounded or have had a good father figure in your life, then yeah, you tend to kind of got, if you will. So I just think it's important to have those life lessons. I know some people probably say, "Oh, you had your nephews read the book and your daughters watch that movie." It's like, yeah, because I wanted them to understand. So, yeah.
This is the money show, so we probably should talk about some money. And if you're chasing the money and you stacking it, you probably have less time to be chasing the booty anyways. So, and here's some money. Last night I was in Newport Beach, and I was just looking at all these people, and I was with a group of friends, and one of the girls was like, "So how much do you make?" She just asked me straight out, "How much do you make?" And I was like, okay, she ain't the one. But I said, you know what? Honestly, I don't know. I go, but here's what I don't focus on what I make. I focus on what I save. And I think that's a better way to go. And I think for all of us is to focus on what you save. If you can pay your bills, right, and make sure you have your life insurance and your critical illness and all that stuff, and you can save 20% of your income no matter what, and you put it away, sooner or later, your wealth, you become mentally strong and you make better moves, and then you're less likely to make moves that we're talking about, like mistakes in dating and all that. And women, especially, you don't have to be like balling out, but the more you do for you, the less likely you are to deal with some ratchet dude, and vice versa, men. As you start to take care of you, like, I don't care how pretty she is, if you're on your game and trying to get your stuff together, and she just wants to have fun and blow money and drink and that, and that's gonna hurt your wealth. You cannot build wealth with a woman or a man, and all they want to do is party and kick it. And I've turned down many of women, beautiful. I don't care how hot she is. At the end of the day, if sleeping with you is going to cost me my wealth, what's the point? So I think what we should start doing is just focusing on what we save. You guys, right now, like Facebook just jumped up, boom, it's on the way to 230, 240. It was 209 this morning. First Republic Bank was $100 and something. This morning it hit $4.92. If you would have took 33 cents on Monday and bought those First Republic, I think I bought a $9. I shorted it at $9, which means anything under 9, I get to keep plus the time that's left on the option. The option expired on this Friday. I paid 33 cents on Monday. I sold it yesterday for $1.50. And then the shit went to $5.50 this morning because they kept going. Oh, man. But you know what I said to myself? I took 33 cents and turned it into 150 times, hundreds of options. JP Morgan was at 141. So last week I bought stock options when they're at 139. I got crushed because JP went to 141. I bought more stock options at 141. Right now they're at 135. So with that simple, $500-600, that turned out to be $3,000. You know what I'm saying? So if you can just start doing little things like this, yeah, it's work. Sure, it takes a long time to understand this stuff. But if you start focusing on that, like I have a friend of mine, she messaged me like, Walter, I don't know what to do. Which business should I start? I said, just start one. Just pick one. Start it. Fall on your face. You're going to fail. You may. Just keep going. Because the things about businesses and learning to save money is you get hurt. And so many of us are not willing to get hurt. Like I've lost so much money and I've lost businesses. I've started things. Like if you look over there, those are all candle jars. I got hundreds. I got 2,000 jars in my living room. And I ordered them all from Asia and all the, Alibaba and China without realizing, oh shit, that's what 2,000 jars looks like. So I got to find somewhere. And we have a place to put them. The point I'm making is I didn't visualize what 2,000 candle jars look like. So I made a mistake, not by ordering them, but just like, shit. I wasn't ready. I came to my house and I couldn't even get in the front door. It was just stacked with boxes. That's the shit after the little beads and out of the boxes. There must have been literally, I want to say 20 of these big boxes on the floor on my doorstep. I had to carry them in, unpack them, me and my crew. And it shocked me. But now I know next time when I order my next 2,000 round of candles, I know shit. That's what to expect.
Hey Walter. Hey Walter, I got a question about the money.
LS, real quick. Let's get to Thunder's question really, really quick, and then we'll get right to yours. So Thunder says, I'm thinking about getting another credit card. Any suggestions? I like to travel.
Yes. Great question. There was actually a good article I read on which credit card to use. So Navy Federal has a good credit card, secured or unsecured, right? I just sent my ex-wife into Navy Federal to get like some cards and some things, and they're actually a great bank. You can do unsecured or secured. Discover has a good secured and unsecured card. Capital One has a good, but they don't have points with theirs. Credit One through Visa and American Express, they have good credit cards. They're a little bit more loose on the credit, and they give you points. Venmo through Synchrony Bank has a really good credit card. Which one is that?
Spirit.
Oh, Spirit has a credit card for y'all Negroes that like to fly. There you go.
Because I see he said he likes to travel, right? And the airline
not on Spirit
card.
though.
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. I've seen the other airlines, they get ghetto and crunk and all of that. But listen, not this flight, but the last flight before that, I'm sitting on Spirit, right? And then before you get ready to land, And they always say this, any airline, they say, hey, if you sign up for this credit card, you could get all these points if you spend this amount of money in this amount of time. So I'm like, you know what? I like to travel too. So I signed up. I knew I was going to get it. I got great credit, okay? So I signed up and get the credit card. And all you have to do was spend $1,000 in 90 days. I'm like, well, I could do that, pay some stuff that I would probably ordinarily pay with cash. So I did. And I got 66,000 points, which comes up to about $800, right? So now I have $800 that I could travel with for spending, the $1,000 that I would have spent on stuff anyway, right? So, but you get airline miles and things like that with the airline credit card. So I'm a Spirit frequent flyer, if you will. I have an account and everything. So I thought, well, might as well get a Spirit credit card to go with the airline that I travel with. So it worked out.
So the Spirit card is cool. I'm just messing around. But every time you spend money, it should be on a credit card that gives you points. Period. I know Spirit, they do have a credit card. Every time I spend money on, I use a credit card. And if somebody doesn't use credit cards, don't take credit cards, I try not to do business with them or set them up on a Stripe account. Because I have people that I pay. So what I do is I set them up on a Stripe account. And then that way they eat the 3%. Hey, I'm doing business with them, and then I get the points. Studies show that the average American gives up $1,000 a month. A year. They lose on cash back rewards. So, like, for instance, my assistant has it, but Apple has a credit card through Goldman Sachs. You get 1 to 3% back. I think they figure out which points you use the most. Venmo has a good credit card through Synchrony Bank. Best Buy has a pretty decent credit card. Navy Federal has a really good card. And then you know who has a really cool credit card? It's Amazon. They have a really good Prime card. You get and then you can get a credit card for your Amazon account. So I have two, one on Amazon. So if I can buy something on Amazon, I'll get it because you get 5% back on Amazon purchases. So if I can get on Amazon, I'll go there first. What's that? Is that an Amazon? I don't know what that is. I can't see it. I need my glasses.
AD says, please push Black-owned banks. That is a Black-owned bank. I've had this account for a few years now. One United Bank is a Black-owned bank. They have they're based out of Los Angeles. I think they have maybe two in Los Angeles. So I think it's just in Los Angeles.
Do they give you points for that credit card?
This is actually a debit card, just to my bank account.
Yeah.
So I just use this, to save money in and stuff like that. But the reason why I'm showing y'all this is because, I want to show y'all that I'm not just saying to do stuff that I'm not already doing. So that's why I'm showing you that. So this is actually a Black-owned bank account.
Yeah. I invest with Wells Fargo. I have a debit card with Wells Fargo. It's Black-owned. My bank account is owned by a Black man. I'm not familiar with United One or One United.
One United.
Get you a credit card that pays you points, and you have to be careful too. Like another thing, when you guys go to a gas station, when you use credit cards, they charge you more. So you have to make sure that your points are more than what they're charging you. Like at a gas station, sometimes I will just pay cash, period, or I'll use a debit card when I get gas because they charge you more. They charge you a cash price and they'll charge you a credit price. I noticed even when I was paying my some things that I pay, like I went to pay my property taxes and they wanted like 2.5%. So in a situation like that, I just used my debit card. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to be careful because spending $20 here, $40 there, $20 here on a fee, that stuff adds up. So what you need to do is every time you can use your credit card, make sure it's giving you points. All these credit cards, like the Amazon Prime credit card, 5% back. Like yesterday, I went to Whole Foods and I put the Whole Foods purchase on my Amazon card. So not only when you go to Whole Foods and you are a Prime member, you save money on groceries and you get cash back from the credit card. That stuff adds up. So my grocery bill is easily $500 to $1,000 a month because I have to buy Whole Foods, organic, grass-fed beef, wild caught fish. I don't, unless I'm out in a restaurant where they don't use organics, but then the next day I can fill it. Use those to get the points. And then as far as traveling, Capital One has a really good travel credit card. Chase, a lot of the big banks have good. United has a really good credit card. American Express has a really good credit card.
I'm so excited that I have those. I have a Discover one too.
Yeah, American Express gives you some really good benefits for travel. So, which reminds me, I need to add another Amex card. But there's, they're really good travel credit cards. So that way, every time you swipe, every time you use it, you get points, and that will help pay for your lifestyle. And that's a way to build wealth. So use your credit cards effectively, and then build your credit, you guys, because credit is how you get down.
And the one thing I want to say too, and LS, let's get your question first.
Now I got a few things. On what y'all was just saying about going to the gas station, I want everybody to know that when you use your debit card at the pump, your bank may hold $100. It has happened to me at Quick Trip and several times. I stopped doing it. If I use my card at the gas station, I'm going inside. Um, I wanted to ask Walter this about a current situation happening with Fox and Bud Light. Do you see them bouncing back, or how low do you think they will go in their loss, and do you see them bouncing back from the recent decisions they made, with their product and Fox with letting go Tucker Carlson?
I was actually disappointed that they let go of Tucker Carlson because that's for sure. I don't agree with everything. Matter of fact, half the shit he says I don't like, but then I watch CNN. I don't agree with most of the shit they say either. But one, I think we don't really understand what happened with Tucker. I don't know how you let go your number one dude. That like
Yes.
letting go of Michael Jordan. No one really knows. They're guessing it might be some sexual, whatever it is. It's something deep for them to let that cat go. But he's a star. He's gonna rock no matter what, unless he did something, weird. It's gonna have him with Jeffrey Epstein. Two, Bud Light. First of all, Bud Light is horrible. And Bud Light, the only people I know that drink Bud Light are, Billy Bob Thornton and them. You know what I'm saying? And I really don't understand what they were thinking. Oh, because I know what they were thinking. They were trying to reach out to millennials because of the LGBT community, blah, 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 blah. But like those guys drink, what's that spritzer beer? It ain't even real. They drink seltzer. You know what I'm saying? They ain't drinking Bud Light. That's the last time you saw a millennial drinking Bud Light, unless he on a budget. So I think Bud Light, they're going to have, it's funny. I was in the store, Whole Foods, and I saw Bud Light, and I picked up a can. Was like, oh, hell to the no. And I started joking, and the dude next to me was like, I heard that. I ain't buying that shit either. And I know they are losing a lot of money. And
they said that they've lost, about 17% of their profit. In addition, they just fired or they suspended, I guess, 2 executives that were in charge of doing that.
Okay, yeah. So I got one last thing on what y'all were just talking about with building your credit. Have y'all heard the story that the Biden administration, that might not be specific enough, but that's how I saw the story, that now they are gonna punish people with good credit and give them higher mortgages because of people with low credit?
So what it is the Biden administration, I forget what it is that they're fixing. It's the loan. What is it? What the loan?
It's sort of like an affirmative action for.
Well, no, I'm talking about the agency. So yeah, you're right. It's like an affirmative
for credit.
Look, hey, my son, he 12. He just said, "What's the purpose of getting good credit if this is what they gonna do?" Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Well, I can tell you what's happening is Joe Biden. They're reaching out. They're trying to keep the minority vote. I don't think listen. I'm open for reparations. Yes, give us our check. But to penalize, because you having a 600 FICO score versus a 740, In these day and age, it's 100% up to you because credit card companies don't discriminate. Visa, they ain't like, oh, this is a Negro, drop his points. Credit unions ain't working like that. I've had bad credit and I have now have good credit, and I know what it takes to keep it. It's an ongoing thing. This thing with Joe Biden is penalizing people that have a 740 or higher. I believe that's what it is. And if you have a 680 and lower, you get a better rate. That is hogwash. One, it's going to drive a huge rift in the races because now you're telling minorities, okay, minorities, if you have bad credit, we're going to give you a better rate and charge the people that have been busting their ass all their life to have good credit. You're going to charge them more? That's not cool. And then what's my incentive if I'm buying a house to not to bring my score down? Because I know how to bring my score from 720 to 670. I can just max all my shit out and my credit score will fall 50 points like that. So, and people that, most people are smart enough for that. So Joe Biden, I really just wish he would just roll up and go somewhere. Because he's given people one more reason to have strained race relations. When I heard that, I just thought, okay, black people, at what point do we stop just having shit given to us?
Well, but let me clarify that too.
I'm sorry, it's a minority thing. It ain't just black people.
Wait. So I know it's not. It's supposed. The purpose of it is, from what they're saying, it's supposed to close the home ownership wealth gap, right? So it's supposed to benefit, as they say, people of color, because they ain't gonna just say black people of color and people of low income, right? So if you have good credit, I think it's like 720 and above or something like that.
I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, you'll pay like $60 more a month on your mortgage if you go get a new mortgage, right? So I don't think it applies to the old mortgage. Maybe it does. I don't know. But for
it's a new mortgage.
It's a new mortgage. But this is the thing. Most of us here have good credit. So we go buy another house, that's going to apply to us as well. I think what they are trying to do is appease black people. But if they really want to appease black people, just give us a reparation check. We can go buy our own house, get our own land, because that is needed. We were robbed of real estate, land, and all of that. So it is owed to us, right? But don't rob Peter to pay Paul to do it, because essentially that's where there's black people here on here that got good credit. If you go buy a house, you're going to have to pay too. So that's not really for black people per se, right?
Well, they're saying that there are more black people with lower credit than higher credit. And there's more people, white people, black, Mexican, with lower credit than high credit. In order to keep a 720, 740 FICO score, you have to be really on your stuff. And if you're the type of person that's using your credit all the time, maxing out, applying for new credit, getting inquiries, you fight to be at 720. I mean, I fight to be at 720, and I don't miss payments, but still, if I use my Venmo card and I max it out for 1 month just to pay for all my points, my credit score drops.
Hold on a second. Let me give a point of clarification. So, AD, you're right. It says y'all realize they only made one can for Dylan Mulvaney. I think that's the trans woman's name. He said, and Tucker was fired because of money and liability lawsuits. So those things are what I don't know if they've necessarily confirmed that with Tucker, but I guess it's kind of speculated that that's the case. But they did make one can. It was like a commemorative can for the trans woman. And I guess Bud Light does that for different people for different things. So it wasn't like it was a can that was going out to the market per se. It was just for Dylan, or I think that, or Delane, whatever his name is. I don't know.
I mean, whatever.
They were testing the waters, and it blew up in their face.
Well, I'm just telling y'all what happened. Okay. And then they posted it on their social media. And then, of course, that went viral. Now, I should also say that a lot of other companies are facing backlash. I think it's CoverGirl or Maybelline, one of them. They're facing a boycott as well because they have made Dylan the face of whatever, let's say CoverGirl. They've made it the face of CoverGirl, so people are pushing back. Nike's also giving him I'm going to say her because that's what she goes by, a campaign of the sports bras. Some people are pushing back on Nike with that. Now, I heard this. I haven't seen it myself, like in print somewhere, like facts. But they've also given them a tampon ad as well, from what I understand. So it's people are like, no. And, and I'm gonna just keep it real with you. I'm not transphobic. I even hate that word exists, because I know there's some people who are hateful against trans people. But I think you saying, well, as a woman, I don't think a trans woman should be selling me tampons. I don't think that makes a person transphobic. I just think it makes sense, because what do you even know about using it? And I'm scared to ask, where would you even stick it? You know what I
You know what I'm
mean?
saying? So
So
TMI.
I mean,
and
I'm just saying, but that's what they're doing.
most people that are in the LGBT in the alphabet community aren't even that way. I have a lot of friends who are gay. I do. I just, I have millions of friends. I have a lot of friends that are gay. As a matter of fact, I travel with two gay dudes. Me and my girl, we travel. We've been all over the world together, these two gay dudes. And they never, ever, ever, matter of fact, they're almost to the point where they don't want people to know. Most gay people aren't out there like, hey, look at me, I'm a weirdo. I'm a, you know what I'm saying? I'm a man in a woman's dress. Dylan Mulvaney, I watched a video today for the first time of this dude dressed like a little girl dancing around singing little kid songs. It's like most gay people don't function that way. They don't want all this corruption. They're not freaks. Like, they got Madonna on stage kissing some woman all crazy. It's like most gay people most gay people don't want that shit. They're gay. There are a lot of people that truly, men that like men. I can never understand that. But there's men that like men and women that like women. They don't want this shit out in the open. They're not out there acting all crazy. It is a destruction campaign to keep people, I'm telling you, keep them distracted. Black people, all those rights and those are supposed to come to us. They stand on our shoulders, like Dave Chappelle said to the alphabet community. How'd you do it? You know what I'm saying? Those black rights became women's rights, and then gay rights, and on and on and on. And the BLM movement, they're one of the biggest crooks for hijacking the black movement to move the LGBT community, and then taking the shit to the Bahamas and buying some houses. So
Okay.
that campaign ruined Bud Light, because I know a lot of people, like, I have not seen a Bud Light can at a party in weeks. And I've been to some hit parties, I've been to parties. You don't see it because people are embarrassed to buy that shit at a checkout stand. I was in Whole Foods, I didn't see one person pick up a can of Bud Light.
LS.
Last thing. The gays that you were talking about, Walter, those are the ones that I respect. The ones that keep it to themselves. It's their business. People don't want to be a part of that, so don't be trying to include us in that. Back to the money. How you feel about secured loans and using that to build your credit when you had the money to borrow from the bank yourself? You put your money up, they give you a loan, you get the best interest rate. You got to pay it back within 2 years, 3 years, but you get the best interest rate. How do you feel about that? And I'm gonna jump off. Thank y'all for letting me come up, and I'm gonna listen.
Thank you. Come see
Back
us
to the.
again.
All right.
Yeah, no, thanks, man. I like get a credit card by any means necessary. So if you can get a secure credit card, like I know there's Self and Credit Strong. I believe it's Credit Strong, where you can make payments on a credit card. Like you can, like, they'll give you a line of credit. I mean, they'll give you a loan and says, okay, you owe yourself. So you owe yourself $1,500. You're gonna pay off this $1,500, and then what's gonna happen? We're gonna put that on your credit and show you paying a loan, even though you're paying yourself. And then once you get to a certain amount, we're gonna give you a credit card, so you get two accounts from that. I like that. Self recently has raised their fees, so if I was gonna do a Self card, instead of doing $2,500, I might just do $1,000 over 12 months or something, so you don't get killed in fees. Because Self has figured out, okay, more people than we thought have bad credit. So if we give them a $2,500 credit line and they're going to pay us $2,500 over 2 years, we're going to charge them $500. And then that goes back down into the sharkism, the predatory lending. For Self to have the $1,650 credit line, it used to be $1,800, and I did that myself. So for me, it was worth $150 over 12 months to add a line of credit and an installment loan at the same time. So Self doesn't pay points. So I don't use my Self card. I just used it to keep it, to have it on my report. So I think the secured cards work. Like Navy Federal has a good secured card that gives you points. So does Discover. So get you a card that has points. And if you can't get one of those for whatever reason, just get one and start building your credit, because in the future, credit, I mean, I'm guessing it's going to be everything, because right now with AI, like I was talking to Natalie, some of y'all call her Becky, about AI, and she sent me this thing where instead of us hiring people to do ads and I'll type it up, there's AI. If you say something, it will put together the ad, the captions, and everything, and even download the pictures for you. And I'm like, all those people about to be out of a job. Chat HGBT or whatever, however you said, is on the move. Interior designers, they have this app where you can take a picture of a room. In the AI, you type in a couple things, it will redesign the room for you in 30 seconds. Like I can take a picture of this room behind me and it will give me new design stuff. So you're going to need your credit to make money moves. The guys that do the best in this world are the finance guys. They're the richest guys in the room. You need to become those dudes. Using your credit to buy real estate. Get you a fourplex. Me and my sister talk about this shit all the time. Get you a fourplex. You stay in one, and then you rent out the other three. My house here, my assistant is getting ready to move out. She's going back to her roots, and so it's just going to be me in this house, and two empty bedrooms. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to rent out the whole top floor, and I am moving to the beach, which is, so instead of paying $2,500, I'm looking at paying $5,000 a month in rent. Not something it's not a smart decision on its own, but I can get a 3-bedroom for $5,000 and rent out those rooms and let those 2 rooms pay $4,000 of that. And I'm living near the beach for $1,000 a month. So those type of things where you can say, okay, I want to live in a nicer area, but I'm going to have other people pay for it. So having good credit or just thinking like a finance guy puts you in a better position. Like, so you move money, and I don't care what it is. The only reason I got into candles is because they cost $3 to $5 to make, and they sell for $20. I almost burned the shit out of myself. I'm already the Joan of Negro, burning myself. But it's not that I enjoy making candles. I just know I can make them for $5 and sell them for $20. So I'm interested in keeping the spread. And so you need to become a finance person. Those are the people that do the best. I was at this restaurant, and the Ferraris and Bentleys were pulling up, and they're finance guys. They get out, they're suited, they're finance guys. So if you can learn to move money, you can make money without even, like, you can have people do things for you long as you understand the money. That's all Walmart's doing. You think Sam Walton was out there? Maybe at first he was out there picking grapes. Sure, he's like, yeah, those grapes look good, bring them to the store. But he got somebody else to pick grapes, and he was fine moving the money. You become that person. And the fastest way to do that, as far as I know, is to have good credit, because you can then turn around and you could borrow money to invest. And I'm telling you, because now a lot of these jobs, you guys, they're disappearing. This AI is wiping these jobs out. Look at Facebook, Google, all these companies, they're laying off. And then you look at like Bed Bath & Beyond, which is now gone.
Ain't that something? Just gone.
Poof. Their stock was trading at 13 cents this morning. Gone. First Republic loaned money to rich.
When did Bed Bath & Beyond leave?
A couple of days ago.
They just called.
They're in bankruptcy.
Oh my God.
Selling towels on the street. I don't know what they're going to do with all that stuff. But those are thousands and thousands of employees nationwide gone just like that. Amazon is whooping the ass. That's what it is. Amazon is crushing those people. Because I can order 10 towels right now. They look real cushy and really soft. And if they ain't cushy and soft, I'll put them back in the box and I'll return to sender. And they don't charge me. That is AI at its finest. I'm telling you everything. I saw this lady, this book is called Teamwork. She's Grant Cardone's business partner. She goes, "Oh, the book, if you go to my website, it's $29. It's not going to be cheaper on my site." Do you know I took my black ass to Amazon and got this book for 14 bucks? I got the audiobook and the book for less than she was selling this book on her own website. So those type of techniques is what's going to keep us richer. And if you don't have good credit, my God, I'm telling you, man, there's going to be a time where you can't get a job.
Can you? I got 2 questions on deck for you. So Thunder wants to know: is it better to get a credit card from a big bank or a credit union?
I prefer credit unions. Like one of my favorite credit cards is Navy Federal. They because the credit unions, I don't know what it is exactly, but they just seem to be more friendly. More about the it tends to be an association of people. You walk into Bank of America, it's like, who this? Like Navy Federal, they have all of my vehicle loans. I have credit with them. I can walk into Navy Federal and say, hey, you know what? I need to borrow $20,000 for this, and they'll just run my credit. If it makes sense, they'll give it to me. So.
And what about this question? Because I'm not quite sure. It says, when traveling international, big 3 credit better? Does that resonate with you at all?
I'm not sure. I mean, if you're talking about Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase, and Bank of America, those cards it's better. Like I was in, oh my God, I was in Bali. I think my girlfriend were in Bali, and I found a Wells Fargo ATM in Bali, which I thought was just like, wow. You know what I'm saying? It was okay. So
also, he's saying credit card. So he's saying what's 3 credit cards are better to travel international. So is there any credit cards that are that they say American Express never travel leave home without it? Is that it?
Well, get you a credit card that has customer service that you can get a hold of. Like this Apple card I got from Goldman Sachs, they are 24 hours. They answer the phone 24 hours, no matter what. They are 24 hours. And you can go on your iPhone and you could pull up your wallet, your account, and you could tie a bunch of stuff to it. So with some cards, you call and they're like, oh, our business hours are like I had a First Premier card and they go home at 5:00. I don't care what the issue is. So that card sits in the drawer. I don't even know why I still have it. So get with the credit card that will answer the phone 24 hours.
And Thunder, as far as Navy Federal, so it is a military credit union. However, if you know somebody and they can give you a code and you can get a bank account with them. And that's what I did. Walter, he wasn't in the military, but he have a bank account. He probably got a code from somebody, and then he shared the code with me. And I was able to get a Navy Federal bank account.
Yeah, I've given my code to several people. I probably have 10, 15, 20 people that I've sent the Navy Federal code to, and they have credit with Navy Federal. Because one of my business partners, I don't know, somebody he knew was in the military, 20 people removed. That's how I got mine. So that's the best way to get into Navy Federal, from what I understand. I don't know if you can just walk into the bank or not. You should know somebody or get a link. I mean, I send it to clients, people that I make money with. I'll send them the code. And that's code for money that's already hit my bank account. So, because it's a little bit of work. So get you credit cards that they answer the phone all the time, and get you credit cards with points. I'm telling you, when you get a statement that says, oh, this month you've earned $100, and like Navy Federal, they send the money right to you. They put it in an account for you, and you can move it. You can use it to pay your credit card down, or you can use it to put directly in the bank. Same with Amazon. Amazon, when you use the Amazon card on your account, the points rack up right there, and they say, would you like to buy if you make a purchase on Amazon, you could use those points. I'm telling you guys, before I buy anything, I go to Amazon first, period. Even I'm wearing some pants that I've bought in a store. I went and found them on Amazon. Same price. Now I get 5% back for those pants. That stuff adds up, you guys. So you got to be the banker. You always have to be the banker. They are the richest people in the world, bankers, or people that understand how to keep the spread. And if you're not doing it, you're going to be mowing grass, you're going to be a slave, you're going to be living with somebody that's doing it. Jobs, if you have a job and you think your shit is secure, you are fooling yourself. I don't even care if you're in healthcare. Somewhere there is a surgeon, a robot has replaced him or her. They have robots doing surgery. In Canada, they have robot prostitutes. I swear to God, in Canada, there used to be a woman there giving up the booty. Now it's a robot. It don't ever get tired. It don't need no days off. It ain't gonna ever complain. And it's scary to me that the world is going there, but even that prostitution they are replacing women with robots. It's mind-blowing to me, but that's what's happening. You don't
Last
believe me?
question here. Arneba has a question. Last question.
I got a question too.
What is the best
Okay,
strategy?
so Arneba, then Black America.
What is the best strategy to use to beat the time when you're buying? So calls or puts. What I do is obviously the longer you own the call or the put, the more it's going to be, but the longer you have for things that go bad or good. What I've been doing lately is, let's say, like, you can watch CNBC and Bloomberg, or you can Google earnings reports, S&P, companies earning report date, or, report dates. Or you can find out when these companies report. If you go on if you have an E-Trade account and you follow the stock, it will tell you what day they report earnings. So like today, Facebook announced earnings. So the stock was trading at 209. They crushed it, and their stock went to $230. I don't know where it's at now. But so if you buy stock options the day before they announce, or right before, because some announce before the market opens, so you have to do it the day before. Or it's like Facebook, you could have bought Facebook options today. So you could have invested $1,000 today on Facebook at 10 p.m. And when they announced at 1 p.m., that $1,000 is now $4,000. That's how it works. So what I tend to do is invest in companies before earnings. Some days they're going to miss, like JP Morgan, they were already at 130 something. And I bought puts, which means I bought a put option thinking JP Morgan would come down. They actually went up and I got wiped out. But they went up to the top. And once they got to 140, I bought another put at like 133. So they're 141. I bought a put at 133 and I did it short just for this Friday. So the option was 4 or 5 days. But because First Republic, who's in trouble, they're a bank here in California, they're in trouble. I knew if they really screwed up, they missed earnings, that the JP Morgan, the rest of the banks, even though they were in good shape, they're going to take a hit because it's going to remind people how crappy the banking system is. Sure enough, First Republic, they missed so bad. Their stock went from $14 to $4.92 in one day. So my First Republic stock options paid off big. And then my JP Morgan options, because of First Republic, those stock options paid off big too. So, that's almost a $3,000 day for me. But I'm watching the markets every day. I have CNBC and Bloomberg on my TVs all day. And yeah, I might spend 3 or 4 days just watching Bloomberg and CNBC, but all I need is them to say, here's what's going on with this stock. And they've been talking about First Republic Bank all week, forever. So they said they're going to announce earnings. I went before. And so those type of things take extra work. So instead of watching Pookie and them or Love is Blind or Love and Hip Hop, Bloomberg is 24 hours and CNBC starts at like 3:33, 4 o'clock in the morning West Coast time. And you just leave it on in the background. You can watch it on your phones. You can Google how to watch CNBC for free, and there's OF. And you can watch it on your phone. I have 2 phones, so one phone I can watch it on while I'm working on my other phone, or have Bloomberg or whatever just in the background while I'm working.
So let's get to Black America's question, and then we're going to get out of here.
What's the word?
All right. So I had a couple of questions. How do you get into those stock options?
Ooh, I mean, that's like a question like, how do you cure world hunger? I mean, what I did uh, is I went on YouTube and I just okay. First of all, I did it as a living. I traded stock options for a living. So I did it professionally. But if I was a new person, I would go on YouTube and just Google how stock options work. And you put in 30, 40 hours on YouTube, learning how it works, and you start watching CNBC and Bloomberg, and it's just something. You know what I mean? You just get into the groove, but you watch, it's like wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. And sooner or later you go, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. But like, are you okay spending 6 months to learn something that could pay you $1,000 in a day? So for me today, I'm like, okay, I need to make $1,000 every day to make my life, to make sense financially. So if I can do that, but add another $3,000 once in a while in stock options, because sometimes I'll do it and I'll lose money. But if I can make $3,000 a month just with stock options, that stuff adds up. And it's just time and research and a few $100.
All right. What's your other
$400
question?
date money.
Hello, Artemis. How you doing? And Black America, what's your other question?
How do you find out when they're CNBC, Bloomberg, or if you open an E-Trade account, open a non-qualified brokerage account.
Oh,
If
I
you
was
type
on
in
mute.
a
I'm
stock,
sorry.
if you type in a stock, they'll tell you right at the bottom on the right when their earnings date is. That's the date that they announce, or you can Google it. You can Google S&P 500 earning dates, and it'll give you a list of companies and when they announce earnings. Like this is a huge week for earnings. The banks, the technology companies, their earnings, they're announcing earnings. This is earnings seasons. It's quarterly. So right now it's April. We have January through March, and they're announcing their first quarter earnings that ended in March in April. You understand how that works? You have April, May, June, and July. We have earnings seasons again. So you have 4 times a year and hundreds of companies to choose from to just pick. I'm going to jump on these earnings. So like Netflix, remember they went from 600 to like 1 something. And now Netflix is on its way back up to $400. So every time Netflix announces, the stock either goes up or down, and you just have to kind of understand what's going on with it and pick a side.
All right. So let's get to Black America's last question so we can get on out of here.
Get on up.
All right. Okay. I'm sorry, Black America. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
All right. So now I have a condo that we're about to get from underneath. And I was wondering, what would you do as far as we want to buy a new building, a bigger, we want to buy like a bigger apartment building. Would you use your equity out of the condo? Me and my brother were talking about just taking the equity out of the condo, then buying the apartment complex and then just selling the condo, or should we just use what we have to put the 20% down on the apartment complex?
I have to look at the whole deal, but like if you have a condo, if you can refinance a condo, pull money out and buy other stuff, but then so the condo being rented, or even if it's a condo you live in, if you can refinance a condo and then put money somewhere else, it's called the BRRRR strategy. You can Google it on YouTube. Buy, refinance. You can take that cash and buy something else. That tends to make more sense. That's what a lot of the people in real estate that really understand it is what they do. The only reason I'd really sell is if I couldn't refinance it. Like my lake house, I couldn't refinance it, so I had to sell it because I couldn't. It was manufactured, so I had to sell it to get the money. So
I have a question for you, Demetria.
Sure.
Do you have an email where I can send you some information or like to have a dialect with you?
DemetraK@gmail.com. So my name is
Is it? Hold on. Let me write this down.
So while we're waiting for him to write it down and everything, you guys, we love and appreciate you guys so much. Thank y'all so for being here. We went a little bit over time, but Donovan and I will be back here on Sunday for the Demetra K show, or of course we'll follow the same format. I don't know what we'll talk about, but I'm sure it'll be interesting. Also like to thank Walter for all that he does on this show on Wednesday and giving us wisdom and everything about money and things like that. And so we also have ways to help the channel if you want to donate. We have a Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, like, subscribe, become a member. All of that, everything is appreciated.
Yeah,
Walter?
and go get you. You can go to lyt.one and you can get you www.lyt.one and you can get you one of these candles. Me and my crew, we make them ourselves. We have we have 3 colors right now. We have a zillion. Well, we have about 10, 15 different scents, and these come right now. We're doing the 10 ounce, soon to be a 14 ounce. So you can go there, and if you order one, just you can type in when you order it. You can put in notes and stuff, and then let me know that you ordered one. And what I'm doing with people that order one, they go to lyt.one. I'm sending them a free one, just because I'm trying to get the company off the ground. So.
Okay, so say your email again, Demetra.
I'm going to put it up on the screen right now.
You know I'm old and can't see.
Oh, DemetraK@gmail.com.
Okay, I got it.
So you got to a 53-year-old woman then, huh?
No, I don't go that old, buddy.
And ladies, I've also heard that older men can give you worms, so be careful. So anyway, y'all, we're going to get on out of here. Love and appreciate you. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Bye.